Let's go. How's it going, guys? Welcome to another exciting episode of the Terrorisk podcast. I'm Carmen Prince, and this is Chris Kim. How are you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing fucking excellent.
I'm doing good.
We're both a little distracted. Carmen's got this bartending gig he's trying to get.
Yeah, I know. Here I am ignoring the importance of the podcast, but this is a rare
No,
case
it's fine.
where
No, it's fine. How much is it? Is it a lot of money? I mean, it's a lot.
My friend who got me the connection, his wife says they can pay $5,000 total, but that would be like that money. Big chunk of that money would go to buying the alcohol for.
So the
it.
budget is $5,000.
The budget is $5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like standard like speaker event shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's fun. Yeah, we could talk about that.
And then they just want me. They're asking if I could source the alcohol, which I technically can.
We did that shit before.
I've done it before. You're right. I did exactly that.
So is it still anything dire?
No, it's nothing dire.
All right, tell her to fuck off.
No, this is the friend.
Oh. All right, so we could start with some news. Over the new year, as we all know, Mamdani was officially sworn in. Funny location too, in that old City Hall train station.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. I say wreck of a City Hall train station, but it's really just like a nice old train station that they stopped using because of what is it? Just like their other ones around are far much better.
I don't know.
I think it's something like that, or there's
It's
something.
probably- it's
no,
probably-
you know it probably is. I think it's something like they changed the types of trains, and it no longer either fit or didn't
maybe
meet
it's the
same-
location.
Yeah, the location was superseded by other stops.
Yeah, it's probably the location, honestly. Like, maybe they made an update to renovations to the building. So, ABC New York reports Zoran Mamdani was officially sworn in as mayor of New York City just after midnight Thursday. The politicians and other supporters are gathered later in the day at City Hall for a larger ceremony. Mamdani is the city's first Muslim mayor. It's first of South Asian descent and the first to be born in Africa. At 34, he is also the city's youngest mayor since the late 19th century. The Democratic Socialist takes office after an historic campaign made affordability a national buzzword across the political spectrum. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders administered the public ceremonial oath of office to Mamdani at today's event, broadcast on Channel 7 and streaming on ABC 7 New York. So this was, I think, the moment. He was like, I'm too cool for the ball.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I just want to say, I bet this whole move was because he specifically didn't want to be at Times Square. Him and his
Yeah.
wife, they were like, I don't want to fucking do that shit.
Very reasonably.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year to all of you. And I can't think of a better way to usher in 2026 than to be amongst family and friends and to inaugurate the man who will bring about a new era of progress, promise, and prosperity for New York City. Zoran, I am so proud of what you have accomplished.
She's got the
And I'm
classic
filled
lib
with
accent.
joy about what
Classic
we
lib.
will accomplish for our beloved city over the coming years.
Era.
And so
Years.
with that, let us begin. Please repeat after me. Raise your right hand. I, Zoran Kwame Mamdani,
Zoran Kwame Mamdani,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Charter of the City of New York,
and the Charter of the City of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
My
the
cum.
duties of
the duties of
the office of
the office of
the Mayor of the City of New York
the Mayor of the City of New York,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So I mean, Allah,
Congratulations,
bitch.
Mr. Mayor.
Now kiss the Quran. So that was the swearing-in ceremony. Nowhere near the ball. Pretty righteous. Pretty interesting, I should say.
Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Happy New Year. to New Yorkers, both inside this tunnel and above. and I cannot wait to see everyone tomorrow as we begin our term. This is truly the honor and the privilege
He probably thought he was gonna get shot in Times Square.
of
Nah.
a lifetime. And after just having taken my oath to become the mayor
Yeah,
of the city of New
it
York,
was a safety issue.
I do so also here. in
Out of the
old City
buildings
Hall
in Times
substation.
Square, it seems hard to get. I feel like security would be too tight.
No, I think it's a nightmare. A logistical nightmare for security. What are you saying?
Yeah, there's a lot of areas to secure. A lot of people in the crowd. You can't search everyone. Fair, fair.
Transportation Commissioner. Than this. So I would ask Mike Flynn if you would please join me.
Okay, so that's where he talks with the transit guys and all the officials and his what do you call it? And his team.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mamdani, this is our mayor now. Great. His wife is pretty cute.
Yeah, she is hot. Conservatives calling her ugly are just retards as usual. Her boots are ugly there. I don't think her boots are good.
It's cold out.
No, but they're like the wedge on the boots is way too thin. Look, pull up what's her fucking name? Mamdani wife boots. Just Google that.
Oh, this is like a recurring thing where she just keeps wearing ugly ass boots.
No, this time they're like pretty fucking ugly. Like I'm really underwhelmed. There's a bunch of like New York Post complaining about how they're $650, but they're a gift, I'm sure, because that's usually the case. So who gives a shit? But her boots, really, I'm not wild about them.
What about her boots?
Images. I don't want to see an article.
What about them? They're just boots.
Okay, give me a larger image of it. There, yeah.
What about her boots?
I don't like the wedge on the.
Oh, that is fucked up. Oh,
like the wedge, it sucks. The like fucking side parts of the toe is too pointy. It's simultaneously too pointy and too broad, and they should either be higher or lower.
Brother, who notices this shit? I'm sorry. Like this is a chronic Twitter shit, yo. Like
What?
Who looks at her boots?
Well, because I saw the articles like about her having like $650 boots, and I was like, who gives a shit? But then I looked at them,
And then
I was
it's
like,
like same as my reaction. It's like, oh, I see. These are pretty fucked up boots.
well, people aren't even focusing on them being fucked up, except girls, gays, and me. I'm not big on women's fashion. I don't get women's fashion.
No.
It's like honestly,
at first I was like kind of like, but then now I see it. It's like that's a pretty fucked up.
the wedge in particular should be like thicker. Like it should be a thicker wedge.
That's awesome, yo. Honestly.
And once again, I'm not a fashion expert. I'm
It's
way
just- it
bigger
is-
into men's fashion,
Yeah.
but certain things with women's fashion will stick out to me.
That was fucking. Now I can't unsee it. Like, god
Yeah.
damn it! Look what you did to me. All right, well, that's that. In related news, unfortunately for New Yorkers, the New York City transit fare goes up. Heads up, commuters, getting around New York City will cost you a little bit more after MTA fare hikes took effect over the weekend. The base cost to ride the subway or bus went up 10 cents to $3 on Sunday morning as part of a larger increase in MTA tolls and fares. The hike completes the MTA's transition from MetroCard swipes to OMNY tap and
Omni
ride.
cards.
The elimination of the MetroCard ended monthly 30-day unlimited passes. Replacing it is a $35 unlimited 7-day pass, an increase from the current 30. Actually, that is a better deal.
Yeah.
After riders pay for 12 trips in a 7-day period, all subsequent trips are free, meaning no rider will pay more than $35 in a week. And here's some more info.
Natalie, there's no escaping it. We talked to just about everybody across the spectrum. You're going to be seeing those higher tolls, higher subway and bus fares, and as you indicated, paying more on commuter railroads.
It's a nice ass station, the Metro North. Holy
As
shit.
Long Island
Yeah.
Railroad riders Nick Cabot and his family adjusting
white
to the
people.
upcoming
Tell.
fare hike.
Well,
I
any
understand
of-
they got to raise the prices. I just keep the trains running and wish they put this money right back into making the trains
What a fucking cuck.
better.
As
He's like, I'm sure the money just goes right back in.
for those who
I mean,
tap
it
and
all
go
needs to be
into the subway
subsidized
system,
anyway.
You can already see signs posted of that new $3 fare. Have you been preparing for the higher fare?
We have no choice. We have to pay.
The MTA fare hike starts Sunday. Subways and
What did you-
buses
oh,
go
no
from
choice, you have to pay.
$2.90 up to $3. LIRR and Metro North up 4.5%.
Trying to get my
That'll
fucking
mean,
shekels,
for example, that $378 monthly from Huntington now costs $395, and tolls rising 7.5%. Your one-way Easy Pass jumping from $7.46 above $8.
I hate it.
I mean, I hate it.
Right.
I mean, it's still fucking cheaper than like car insurance mixed with gas, mixed with tolls, like the bridge fees and tunnel fees. But still, man, I mean, what can we expect? Inflation, right? It is what it is. What can we do? Say
Yeah.
You don't mind, right? It's just a 10-cent. I mean, you take transit more than I do. I work from home, so.
Yeah, I take the trip, but already, yeah, but even then, I rarely get up to. I get up to 12 trips if it's like, if I'm riding the train a bunch within a weekend. If I like take, like, going to and from work, like that's like 8 trips. If it's a weekend where I ride I get on the train 4 different times on a Saturday night or whatever.
Have you noticed how online the bridge and tunnel people are always like shitting on like New York City and going to New York City? They're like, hey, that city's a fucking, it's a lost cause. You all deserve socialism. I could never ride the
How
subways.
many bridge and tunnel people are saying, and how many people that are well outside of New York?
No, like Long Islanders, New Jersey people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, bridge and tunnel people are kind of always complaining about the city, but going into it all the time, right?
Well, now it's like worse because they don't even go into the city anymore. It's like, dude, you don't even live here. You never come here anymore. Why are you still complaining about this fucking city like you even see it? Like, you know, like
Yeah, because it's like a big cultural maelstrom and everything like it's centered around it. If you live in Long Island, you know, any bridge and tunnel person like that, if they're traveling in a foreign country, they'll tell locals they're from New York City. In the same way that, like, you know, you meet someone who grew up 2 hours, 3 hours away from Lagos in Nigeria, they'll say they're from Lagos. Or they'll say they're from Beijing or whatever.
yeah,
like,
but you don't spend enough time behind a desktop to know, like, a lot of these fucking moms online, you know, they on their fucking tablets and their laptops at home, or even dads, I guess, on their office desktops. But like, yo, fucking, when you look at YouTube, they sensationalize the fuckedness of New York. Like, look at the thumbnails. Like, you know, like one little shopping rush with like 3 people. They somehow, like, the thumbnail managed to blow it up to like a crowd of like African refugees like bum rushing a Target or
Yeah,
something.
right wingers in general do this. A very dumb, like, Republican conservative thing to do, to overemphasize New York's decline. When, I don't know, it's just never going to be like the 1970s or 80s when it actually was really bad. Or big portions of it were really bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, I always like refer to personally, I refer to my dad's experience growing up in this fucking city.
Yeah.
So, like, no matter how much these people in my generation fucking bitch and complain, I'm like, first of all, you weren't fucking born here, all right? All of my friends who were born here, like, had to leave because of fucking you people. And by you people, I don't mean, like, you know, racially segregated ethnic groups. I just mean, like, you know, like the out-of-towners, you know, who settled here. But I digress. Basically, it's not that bad. I remember distinctly like what the subways used to look like in like the late 90s and the early 2000s. It was not fucking nice. Like,
yeah,
it was worse before that. Like,
I mean, there is also a factor here of like crime and disorder can increase, or not even like crime per se, but just like schizos on the train can make it a less comfortable experience. And you can say, oh, it was worse in the 80s, but that's like looking at the Ukraine war and saying, what are you guys complaining about? A lot more people were dying in 1942 on the Ukraine-Russian border. Like, true, during World War II, there were a lot more deaths. However, the Ukraine, you know, in the same way, an increase in disorder is significant compared to the prior piece.
yeah. Okay.
Like, it's silly to emphasize the worst period that existed in history when you can just look at 10 years prior and see it getting worse. Compare Bloomberg, New York subways to
You know what the problem is
post-COVID.
between us? We need a 130. I think you're like 140 IQ. I'm in the 120s. We need a
Nah, I'm not that high. But
I was
like,
gonna say
I'm
maybe we need I saw that tweet. They were like, you know, 140 has to explain to 130, and 130 couldn't be bothered because they're too busy making money, so they have to like fucking rely on the 120s to just get like a cursory prompt. It's like, yeah, just fucking Google it, you know? Like,
yeah.
and then the 120s like are so sure of themselves, and then they seem like they're the ones who just like, I don't know. It was a funny tweet.
Yeah.
But point being, yeah, I see the parallels, and yeah, things are definitely not as bad as they were back then. It's still bad. I mean, in a lot of ways, things could always be better. Honestly, I think like the one thing we can all agree on is we don't want shit to get more expensive, obviously, but the question is, why is it getting more expensive? Is it getting more expensive because they're actually like adding, I don't know, fucking subway seats that talk to you, that dispose your trash, that have cup holders? No, the reason why the price is increasing because it's artificially inflated maintenance services.
I mean, look, most of the MTA's budget goes to paying pensions, right? They get like really super fucking generous pension payouts.
I don't think that's entirely true. That is true. They do get
a big chunk of it. I don't know what percentage of it is, but it's probably close to half.
But it's not just outright robbery. All
No.
right? So here's what I think it is. It's like if you give our city like fucking an absurd amount of money, right, to completely overhaul our infrastructure, our transit infrastructure. Let's start there. To do that is impossible, no matter how much money you throw at the problem, because the standstill that it would cause throughout the entire city, like actual functioning, will be fucked. It might actually cripple America in a lot of ways. So that being said, I think yes, the city's incredibly expensive to run, but I think most of it is expensive not because they're constantly upgrading shit, but it's expensive because they're trying to like manage this weird fucking system of like 100-year-old main lines made out of wood, or older than that. I think it was like 800 years old or some shit.
What?
Yeah, like 800-year-old main line still made of wood in the city.
It can't be 800 years ago.
I mean, not 800 years ago, 500 years.
Can't even be that. Well, maybe the base structures under the island or whatever, where it was filled in at various points. But yeah, the infrastructure is like 130 years old, I think. It's like 1890, 1900. But yeah.
You're still trying to integrate, and it's haphazardly done. You know?
Yeah, it is. This is the case with a lot of America, a lot of subway systems, because
but it's so densely packed in. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
It's like all right. Let's say there's a company that says we can't shut down. We have to stay running 24/7. And then they hire like an IT guy to like fix their connection problems. They look in the room and it's fucking crazy in there. And they realize like they can't just unplug everything and like redo everything, because that would take like months, you know, maybe a year. So what do? They just manage it. They just do what they can to keep it running. Even though like it would solve the problem once and for all if they just shut the whole fucking thing down for like, so imagine doing that to New York. You can't. So this is why I think like most of that budget really does, it is given in earnest, and it is, even if they did all plan to use it in earnest to fix like all the problems with the infrastructure, it's still impossible to complete in its entirety. So what do? They just have a bunch of money left over that's not going to go anywhere except to the next asshole. So they're just going to fucking pocket it. Like, it's the most logical thing to do.
I'm assuming most of the pocketing, usually the way pocketing money, like in these circumstances goes, is through, like, you give it, it's like who gets the contracts, right? Like, usually it's through that. It's through trickery with that, or inefficiently contracts given out.
Exactly what you're right. You're right about that. That's how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to go to contractors. It's supposed to go to the smaller guys to be able
No, I mean, like, it's like the corruption usually is that, you know, a friend of the mayor or the cousin's mayor has a company that gets the contract.
But that's not even really corruption, though, honestly. I don't really consider that as bad of a corruption as just
if it's overinflated or they like give it an unusually high.
It's nepotism.
Yeah,
it's just bureaucratic nepotism at that point. However, what I will say though is like, again, it's not that they're pocketing the money because of doing some like 100% isn't being pocketed because of all this rigmarole and finagling the bagel with like family and shit. No, it's because at some point it's like there's no more contracts. Yes, our city's fucked. Yes, infrastructure's falling apart. But there's no feasible way to address these issues without like, yes, if I wanted to, I could give you money to fucking fix these issues as contractors, but it would shut down the whole city in a way no one can afford.
Well, yeah, having to rebuild the entire subway system would shut down the city.
So again, like that leaves
presumably you have to do maintenance on individual tracks and trains, and they do, but yeah.
So I think it's just it's more complicated than just greedy people.
No, it is way more complicated. I mean, look, the cost factors are, it's like, I don't know, is it subsidized by the state or just by the city? Or is it federally subsidized, the MTA?
Has to be both, right? I mean, it's an expensive endeavor.
Yeah.
You can't expect something like this animal to be profitable.
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of money in New York, though. So,
and you probably have many private
Might just-
interests. You have advertising. You have fucking,
I mean, advertising, you're just selling space to them on the walls.
That's not true. There's also plenty of retail spaces. There's commercial retail going on in every train station. That's the goal, right? Is to turn every train station into like a mini strip mall.
I mean, among the places that have it, it's not, I don't know about, but as far as cost, that's just people paying probably a huge amount for the real estate.
But it's worth it. You still come out on top probably because of just the sheer amount of traffic in the right station.
Yeah. For
Anywhere
the-
in Manhattan, honestly. Actually, that's not true. Some stations are like really dead, honestly.
Yeah, you only see those station stores and a few really big ones, and particularly ones that have like a lot of long walking areas.
That would be a really good cover. Like a fucking kiosk at a dead ass train station for like money laundering or something.
I don't know. There's probably much better money laundering covering, such as like all the smoke shops that popped up over COVID.
In my opinion, this is a conspiracy theory, but it's a very plausible one. So, to my credit, the best form of laundering money right now is probably through streamers.
Like streamers, OnlyFans.
Yeah, like a cartel guy
Smoke shops.
who might own like a shell company or whatever might approach the streamer and say, "Oh yeah, we sell gamer supplements. Blah blah blah. We'll give you a deal of $300,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That makes
whatever,
sense.
for the year." And then in return, you just do what you do. And then what they do is they have their guys keep feeding them money. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely. I mean, look, it's not a new model. Like honestly, one of the best ways to launder money was through art, because we're talking about like an asset system. Like people pay
The art
money.
in particular, because like the value is not immediately apparent, it's just whatever it's rated as being valued. Let's see other big things. A lot of those 70s porn movies that had absurdly high revenues, like you'll look at, I watched with my girlfriend the 1970s musical pornographic Alice in Wonderland adaptation, which is very of its time. It's cute. It's fine that they're all breaking into their pro-sex songs and barely any fucking because, you know, it's 1970s. But then I looked up the film on Wikipedia, and it supposedly made $50 million in the U.S. domestic market. And I was like, there's no fucking way that many people were going to jerk off to this. That definitely was a case.
But look, like a movie is like a whole production. I mean, it's much easier to launder money with a smaller operation through painting and art.
Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
Because what do? You just have to get a gallery.
A gallery appraiser, yeah.
And you have to get any guy off the street and just make him into an artist. Like, yeah, just take like plastic shopping bags and spray paint on it. We'll get money to it. And then the guy doesn't even have to know it's like he might actually think he's the shit. Like, because he's getting all this money, right?
You don't even have to do a random guy off the street. I mean, you saw that with Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden was the clear case of this. But much of the times, you can probably just find an artist from any art school. You can find someone who can bullshit their way appropriately at the gallery opening.
First of all, if it's someone like Hunter Biden, did he make the paintings?
Supposedly.
So he's Hunter Biden though. Like if you're a relatively known name, I don't think it's counterfeit at that point. Like even if you make shit art, it's still George Bush who did it. It's still Hitler who did it. You know, it's still Hunter Biden who did it.
I fully believe George Bush's art is not this. It's just his genuine artistic expression. George W. Bush is actually a decent artist.
First of all,
He actually is a pretty good artist.
Whether you make your art, quote unquote, for the sole intent of laundering, it doesn't make it any less art, I think.
Yeah. Hunter Biden stuff is all right. I think it can be decent, but
I'm just more interested in the idea of being able to like just inflate the value of any
yeah, it's all
artist,
massively inflated.
any artist work you want, because it's not based on real, true underlying value. It's based on psychology, word of mouth. It's perceived value.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting to me. And also the whole counterfeiting system. It's actually like counterfeit artists. It's actually very beautiful. You know what? Like really good counterfeit artists, you know what they do?
What?
They don't make one-to-one copies of like a famous artist painting and say, oh, this is the real genuine thing, and try to sell it. No, what they do is they will study an artist so well that they will master that artist's style. And then they will create a whole new piece of work and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is one of the lost works of such and such."
Yeah, that's a big thing in art counterfeiting. I know because my dad used to. Well, whatever. My dad never did quite that, but he would do exactly the same process when he would replicate other art.
Yeah, like you could do comic stills or sketches and be like, "Oh, this is the genuine thing from Stan Lee," or like if you're good
Yeah.
enough. And what's beautiful about that process to me, because you're working off the mythology of the original artist. It's not so much about like a single piece itself.
My dad used to, whatever. I guess this doesn't incriminate him. Maybe it is. He could forge signatures of various artists, but
That's fine.
yeah.
I mean, look, that's like forging like one specific aspect of the painting is not even as
Yeah.
impressive to me as if to know their signature, to see piece after piece, to know like to know that it's not enough to make a carbon copy of a signature, because every signature has to be slightly different every time you copy it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like as if the artist is really doing it. You know, it's like, oh, this, you know, depending on the mood, maybe he was drinking a little too much when he made this painting. You know, you got to
Yeah.
account for those things when you simulate that. It's very interesting stuff, you know. And you know, I learned about this from like a podcast interview with a guy in the intelligence game. You know, like I think he was like a Fed or he was in NSA or some shit, which was even more interesting because of course the CIA would get into all sorts of like, or intelligence would get into all sorts of nefarious ways to make like unaccounted for capital.
Yeah.
Money makes the world go around. Anyway, this is kind of a good segue to our next segment, which is about Venezuela.
This is the big meaty thing that we could have spent the whole segment talking about.
No, I wanted to
Venezuela.
say this for last.
Okay.
Because, you know, everything else after.
And we
it's
start
like-
with Lucas Tomlinson live in West Palm Beach, where the commander-in-chief has been spending the holidays. And Lucas, you've had great coverage overnight here. What else are we learning about this operation?
I just want to say it's interesting because I've been learning about acting a little bit, and it's
Yeah.
funny how the number one rule in acting is don't fucking look at the camera. Meanwhile, for like
Newscasting,
music, yeah,
you do directly.
and talking heads, yeah, they look weird doing it.
Good morning, Griffin. A daring operation in the pre-dawn hours and 2 a.m. local in Caracas, 1 a.m. East Coast time. U.S. Special Operations
Well, I like because it's
Forces
Fox News, they
flew in
don't do
from
the
off coast
NPR
of
voice
Venezuela.
thing.
Yeah, it's funny because like when it comes to New York stories, I always go to like ABC or NBC, but when it comes to like this shit, I always go to Fox.
Venezuela to snatch Venezuelan
just do it
leader
funner.
Nicolas Maduro and his wife. President Trump announcing the news on Truth Social a short time ago. I'll read it for our viewers. It says, quote, "The United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. There will be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump."
I love how he signs off always capital letters.
Yeah.
Fucking dope. Okay, so CNN just did a live, timeline, and they said right now, currently, Maduro's in court. A defiant Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, entered not guilty pleas in their first court appearance in New York after being captured in the U.S. military operation. The ousted leader, who faces drugs and weapons charges, told the judge he's still the president. I'm still the president of Venezuela. The couple is not seeking bail for now. Sigue nuestra captura. Whatever. Uncertain future. President Donald Trump declared the U.S. is in charge of Venezuela as he issued stark warnings to other countries. Trump's administration is working quickly to establish a pliant interim government that includes repairing the country's oil infrastructure. According to U.S. officials, his acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, called for cooperation with the U.S. Meanwhile, Venezuelans are hunkering down amid apprehension of what may happen next. Briefing to Congress. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and other Trump officials will give a classified briefing to a select group of bipartisan lawmakers on Venezuela tonight, according to sources, as questions continue about the raid, which Congress was not notified about ahead of time. So what's your take on Venezuela?
A couple of things here. I don't have full information fully out. I've checked up on it somewhat. This is a really interesting raid because we just went in special forces, iced some bodyguards, extracted him with 0 casualties. This was, we can do special forces and we can do conventional military stuff very well. Apparently,
Do you know
from what
why?
I've heard, we're the best at the world. We have a lot of experience with
know
it.
why?
Why?
It's because of the D-boys.
Yeah, okay, go on.
You know what the D-boys are?
No, tell me.
Delta Force?
Oh, Delta Force, yes.
Okay, so here's the thing about the D-boys. We don't know shit about the D-boys because every other special operator, when it comes to shit like this, like we're gonna take down Osama bin Laden, we're gonna capture Maduro, right? Whenever you know it's like Navy SEALs or like Green Beret or whatever. When like 6 months after the operation, you see like a book about it.
Yeah, they brag about it
But-
nonstop.
no.
If Navy SEALs
But
had
listen,
done, yeah, go ahead.
with the D-boys, that doesn't happen. With Delta, for some reason, they do not do
It
that.
speaks
shit.
to their seriousness, actually.
They're the best.
That,
they
yeah.
they are the
Like
fucking
by
best.
contrast, if Navy SEALs had done this,
They have a chip on their shoulder.
yeah, a bunch of guys would have already been saying, "I have my book, Taking Maduro, coming out in 6 months."
Yo, how many D-boys really have like podcasts compared to
No.
Navy SEALs? Exactly.
It's
dude.
like the fucking guy who supposedly was one of the people to shoot Osama bin Laden, though multiple people claimed it, who was on Twitter threatening to rape the Kamala Harris Zoomer boys.
Look, I'm not a military guy. My sister is in the service, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I just know that it's a pattern I've been noticing that Delta Force, when they do what they do, except for like, I don't know, like Somalia, what was it? Mogadishu? You know,
Mogadishu,
like
yeah.
Black Hawk Down shit.
Yeah.
That was the only, that in my purview, that was the most like documented and also like, you know, Hollywood produced.
Yeah, it was also a blunder on our part.
Yeah.
I forgot the guy's name, Adil or something like that. The Somali commander actually did a really good job with it.
Yeah.
Like his strategy was really good
fucked
too.
us
Like
up.
yeah, pepper
Fuck-
it with
he fucked us up.
cheap RPGs, send in a bunch of meat shields with guns to get shot down. I think he had like a really wacky situation where his son like immigrated to America, joined the military.
Really?
Yeah, literally, I swear to God. And was like I don't think it was like high end or whatever, but was coming back with information on US military operating procedure.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think is worse? That or like guys getting out of the military and like ending up like starting the Bloods and the Crips? I'm pretty sure a lot of those guys were vets, like in the Vietnam War and shit.
Yeah, because Vietnam, yeah, it makes sense. Because Vietnam had a lot of disgruntled veterans because of how we handled returning veterans. The other factor
They had no
was
way to make money. So they're
also
like,
we
dude, I'm gonna go
lowered-
fucking shoot people and make money. Like,
Also, they lowered the standards massively. There's the archetype of the crazy Vietnam veteran really does not exist for the global war on terror veteran. And those guys are either like checked out or integrated much better. But another factor with Vietnam was that we drastically lowered IQ standards.
the military.
McNamara's morons, they were called, because Robert McNamara said like we're having trouble meeting like
they could still
numbers.
soldier. I mean, come on, like you could still be a good soldier with a 75 IQ.
Yeah, literally. And it turns out it's not true. And when I read about this, I was like, oh, so that's what Forrest Gump is about. Like, as a little kid, I was like, why is a retard in the military? I don't get it. But then when I read about McNamara's morons, I was like, oh, it all makes sense. Yeah, so the guys that were like the lowered standard scraping the barrel guys they got, they had like drastically higher casualty rates. They were way more likely to frag officers. They were way more likely
Also,
to
apparently
do
they were
stu-
likely to not shoot the enemy. They were like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking do this shit.
They would do stupid shit like throw a grenade in a tent as a prank.
That's funny.
Like they just were really. It turns out you really do not. There actually is a pretty strong cutoff for intelligence to be a soldier or a good soldier.
Suppose, yeah, but I feel like, you know, traditionally soldiers, most of them by and large were meat shields, as you said before.
It depends on the country, depends on the era. A
depends
lot
on
of
the-
eras, you know, this actually brings it back to this, because there's a lot of eras of warfare where, in fact, it's actually very basically elite special forces kind of thing.
No, I think
like
I think it depends on the unit.
that too, but like, you know, during the Bronze Age, during the, you know, the time of the Iliad, that was very heavily favoring small elite forces. That's the reason why.
Let me ask you something. Was it not traditional, though, for those small elite forces to conquer an enemy and say, oh, you're of fighting strength and you're young enough to not be solidified in your cultural ways? Okay, we won't murder you and you're going to join our ranks. We're
No,
going
it depends on the country, depends on the circumstance, depends on like who you're moving to be to be part of your manpower pool. A lot of the times it did not happen, or like
You still needed.
you do need
You still
bodies.
needed a legion of fighting peasants, fighting slaves, fighting some chaff. You needed chaff or something. Even the samurai had it. The Chinese had it.
Yeah.
The Germans had it.
Well, East Asia.
Actually, the Germans, I don't think the Germans had it. I think the Germans were still pretty like pedantic about being elite, even for like foot soldiers, right?
It depends. Depends on the era. Okay, hold on. Like so, Rome, gradually, eventually did bring in more and more like foreign troops, but they had like a high enough population, and high enough competence. They were able to.
I think we're off here. I don't think it was really about class that made warfare more undignified. I think it was the industrialization.
Yeah, it's industrialization. Industrialization is when you get huge numbers of people and mass
Because
conscription.
before industrialization, you had peasants literally fighting their way up the ranks if they were good enough.
Yeah,
But after industrialization,
a lot like okay, so like in in medieval Europe and Sengoku era Japan. Let's go Sengoku era Japan. Medieval Europe is the most extreme example because armies were pretty damn small back then.
Yeah.
Like in medieval Europe,
battles were beautiful. It was like a choreographed dance.
Yeah.
Prison dance, yeah.
You would have cases of peasant levies, but not that often. Usually they broke pretty easily. Like most fighting in medieval Europe.
I think they were called Ashira.
Yeah, Ashigara. Yeah. You got the pronunciation.
Ashigara or Ashira.
Ashira?
I think it was Ashira.
I know it's Ashigaru. That is
Ashigaru
Ashigaru is the word
Yeah,
for
Ashigaru.
peasant. Yeah. So you know how to pronounce the Japanese better than I do. Yeah, but like medieval Europe, you would have battles where it was like 1,000 dudes fighting was huge armies on both sides. Light of
Ashigaru were the
foot.
peasant foot soldiers of feudal Japan. Yep, they served the samurai class. So they were basically like, if you weren't a knight, for example, in the Western equivalent, you were just like this piece of shit,
Yeah. And, it changes. You get much larger armies when you enter the early modern era being like 1500. But even then, you have prolonged period of time where it's just mercenaries and like elite troops doing much of the fighting in Europe. It's with the French Revolutionary Wars, where after the French Revolution happened, they started invading and fighting every neighboring country, that you get modern mass conscription. So like Napoleon was like putting up like armies of like 100,000 men going up against a 10,000 man army.
Was the Napoleonic army like what's it called? An industrialized war?
It's
Proto-industrial?
Yeah, it's right on the verge of it. It really is right on the verge of it. It's not fully industrial or really even industrial, but that's the start of it. Like, once again, we have to look at Wikipedia, but like the battles of like the American Revolutionary War are much smaller than battles that were happening
100%.
20 years later under Napoleon.
So,
in fact, Napoleon was inheriting the model from the Revolutionary
they had
French
fucking
Republic.
like cannons on carriages and shit. That was like kind of crazy, like.
Yeah, I mean, artillery. And by the end of the Napoleonic Wars, artillery was dominating to a huge degree. But it's interesting. The 19th century is very interesting in warfare because there's multiple signs of where things are going, of how things are going to be leading to World War I that people ignored. You could already see it at the end of the Napoleonic Wars with dominance of artillery. Advancements in rifle technology meant that charges like bayonet charges that you're able to pull off in the 18th century were no longer viable. But like the American Civil War was a proto-World War I. There was a lot of trench warfare. There was a lot of people running into long-range rifle fire that they just could not close the gaps, but people had not quite picked it up. European observers of the American Civil War said this was because Americans are rednecks. They're backwards provincials. They don't get it. The same thing happened in the Crimean War, where England, France, the Ottoman Empire was fighting Russia. Same dynamics played out, and they said, oh, it's because of the Eastern Front. Same dynamic played out in the Russo-Japanese War in like 1910, I think.
Okay.
But yeah.
So I would say like that's.
But yeah, industrial warfare changes the dynamic.
Well, okay, so the Napoleonic Wars then would be the beginning of the industrialization of war, which was a paradigm shifting event.
Yeah.
Now, World War II was another paradigm shifting event because that is when they started leveraging intelligence, information for warfare, right?
Also, combined arms, as we know of it, comes through then.
Yeah, so war becomes more about intelligence, because it's about information. Because through the technology of being able to transmit
communication
data,
technology,
basically sending telegrams and wires and all that shit, that changes warfare. Because why do I have to mobilize troops in anticipation of what could be if I could just know exactly what the enemy is literally ordering their troops to do? And if you know that, then that changes the dynamic of war. Suddenly you could win asymmetrical warfare. So World War II, I would say, was a paradigm shifting war when it became an intelligence warfare battle, right? So what's after that? So if we see cycles of paradigm shifting war pretty much by the century, by this point, we should understand that the changing paradigm right now that we're going through when it comes to war especially is psychological. It's about psychological warfare.
Yeah.
War is largely psychological. Ever since the industrialization of war and during the Napoleonic times, as we established, it kicked off this kind of like fuse. Because by the time World War II came, that was the information. I think people get distracted by the nuclear aspect of World War II.
I mean, that's a huge one, but yes.
It is huge. Don't get me wrong. It's very huge. But what first of all, there is a meta that precedes that transcends that. It's the information war that allowed that nuclear shit to happen in the first place.
Yeah, and then nuclear shit solidified the dynamic where you don't want to have a large conventional warfare, which makes intelligence war more important.
The nuclear bomb is literally a manifestation of information warfare. That is the culmination of like your victory in the information war. It wasn't one on the battlefield. No, it was one in fucking dorky looking fucking classrooms and shit with chalkboards and nerds doing equations and figuring out, is this possible? And then eventually a desert and some weird propped up, research town.
Yeah.
But now it's psychological. Yeah, I mean, we saw the first instances of this, say, in Vietnam. Also with the
Project Phoenix.
Probably before that too, I guess. Even
Project Phoenix was like Michael Aquino and other guys doing psyops against the North Viet Cong.
Well, not even just weaponizing information to fuck with the enemy psychologically, but also psychologically optimizing our own forces.
Yeah, we in part lost the Vietnam War due to lack of faith in the war on the American front.
Also, come on, like let's give credit to VC.
And the VC,
they played good. They played a brilliant.
Yeah, they did. The North Viet Cong army was good too. Like people think of it just as the Viet Cong, but what is it? NWK? I don't know. The North Vietnamese army was also very effective at what it did. And they were able to beat, after America, they were able to invade Cambodia, and then they were able to beat the Chinese invasion.
Once you have a battle-hardened force that tasted blood and victory,
yeah,
you become a problem.
You
become an.
No, you do. I mean, that's why they creamed.
They become death squads.
Yeah, they creamed the Chinese, but the Chinese were also really retarded.
But nowadays, like the problem is those death squads are coming from like much more esoteric operations, and they're coming from much more esoteric countries like Scandinavia, Netherlands, Switzerland. Like we think of like death squads and we think of like, I don't know, what do you think, like Russians or some shit? Like the baddies, like Russians or Arabs or some shit.
Germans, what, death squads? I don't know, I think of Storm.
No. The real death squads now, like when you think of like Black Ops dudes who are hired by the Illuminati.
I mean, like the start of this is like German stormtroopers in World War I, which is like the real start of modern small infantry tactics is World War I Germans.
You know what I really enjoyed, by the way, on this line? Like I really liked the depiction in The King's Man.
Yeah.
Not The Kingsman. The King's Man. The
World War I one.
Yeah, I liked it because there was that one scene in the trench battle when they were like, it was nighttime.
Yeah.
And they said, all right, what do we do? And they decided to, well, let's just sneak in there with our bayonets and our knives and our fucking hatchets. That was a sick scene, dude. That was an awesome fucking scene.
I haven't seen that movie. I know it has a much mocked, but really conceptually brilliant after credits scene where Hitler is introduced like Thanos.
Oh my God.
It's really a shame that they did not follow up on that. I think a lot of people made fun of it, but it's actually a natural progression. Sidebar. It's a natural progression of mythologizing World War II to have Hitler show up as Thanos.
You know
It's
what?
hard to say, oh, he's this great evil person that we should take seriously, while also having 80 years of jokes about him.
It's like the modern iteration would be like Grosskreutz in court, like with his mechanical arm going, "I'll get you, Rittenhouse." You know,
Actually, that'd be wonderful. Actually, to have
that's
that.
the post-credit scene. But
Yeah.
but before the credits, the final scene was Rittenhouse walking out of the courtroom, and the judge's like, "Hey, kid, you forgot this." And he turns around, he tosses him his A4. Yeah. And then the credits roll, and usually, we will rock you. And then in the post-credit scene, that's when Grosskreutz is like with his mechanical arms. I should make this into
Actually, this would be a delightful skit. More than like it would wear out its welcome in a movie, but this is actually a wonderful skit idea.
I bet it would get liked by what's his name? Fucking Rittenhouse. He'd be like, "Oh."
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, that's a really brilliant idea, actually.
I'll get you, Rittenhouse, with this fucking badass Mega Buster arm.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, we could take a quick recess.
Ah, fuck. I just want to say some other things. What
yeah.
we could do is-
No, Maduro. We're talking about Maduro. What do you have to say about Maduro?
I wonder if generals in the Venezuelan army sold him out or other people within Venezuela did, because apparently anti-aircraft guns did not even fire, even when they knew Americans were coming in. Now, maybe that's just because the Venezuelan army is garbage, or because they don't want to fight, or they're only used to oppressive things, or maybe we're just that good at sneaking in.
Nah, he's a real fucker. Like, he got trained by serious people. Maduro's not like just some fat fuck. Like, he knows what he's doing. I think, actually, I don't know what I think, but I do know that in 2018, remember, you know the show Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan?
Yeah.
Played by Jack Kaczynski.
Yeah.
In The Office.
John Krasinski,
John
yeah.
Krasinski, yeah. He plays Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
Season 2 was all about Venezuela. This was released in 2018. It literally starts with Jack Ryan lecturing a college class about like global security and homeland security. And it's like, which he listed like Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, Iran, and other countries. And he's like, which of these is the North Korea? He's like, China. Which is the biggest threat? And you know, people were like that. He's like, no, guess again, it's Venezuela. He's like, why? And then he's like, did you know that Venezuela has more gold than all of Saudi Arabia put together, and they have more oil than the entire continent of Africa?
Okay.
So, and then on top of that, look at their strategic location. They're literally in America's backyard compared to, say, North Korea, compared to, say, China, compared to anyone in the Middle East. Also, compared to the fact that Venezuela is not just our target. Venezuela was also, at that time, was also targeted by China.
Yeah, it is. China and Russia are deeply enmeshed with Venezuela,
Exactly.
or were.
Exactly.
Yeah, by the way, side note, it's interesting that the Chinese delegation showed up that very night to have a meeting with. It actually almost feels like it's perfectly designed to humiliate the Chinese. Like, you guys didn't know we had this op coming. You sent your diplomats over, and oh, sorry, they have no one to meet the next day.
They're pissed off. They're fucking ticked off. Like we pissed in their cereal pretty much as Americans.
Yes, we
you know?
did.
Yeah. And not in Russia too, I'm sure.
I think actually the claims of oil, because to my understanding, Venezuelan oil is crude and hard to refine.
Yeah, they said it's not.
I don't.
Good.
I think the geopolitics seem far more relevant
First
than
of all,
resources.
oil already as a
becomes so much cheaper.
Oil already as a necessary resource is becoming less significant.
Yeah, it is.
So it's going to become a lubricant after like what, in 50 years?
Yeah, I don't think it's actually about the oil. I think it's
about the gold.
Maybe gold. Definitely, I think it's about outmaneuvering Russia and China.
That too. That's probably the most important thing.
I think that actually Trump saying we're doing it for the oil, I think is actually a distraction.
Yeah,
is a red herring.
We're doing it for oil. I mean, we did it
It's
for Iran.
not that.
No.
It's actually about
The
China.
strategic position, because as we said, and that's what Jack Ryan, that's the whole season was about.
Yeah.
Like they were like oil, gold. No, it's the fact that, you know, the competing interest, and also there was the inner turmoil in the country. And in that season, they had some Democratic, like left-leaning lady who was running against Maduro, and she was winning, you know, like organically, and Maduro sent hitters, and Jack Ryan had to save her and save the whole, you know,
Yeah.
that was the whole thing. But you get it. I mean, I saw that, and then I see this play, and I'm like, ah. I saw this season of Jack Ryan already. Like, I know what's gonna happen. You know, like this is all gonna blow over. And
You know, it's funny because I was thinking, like, this would feel a little bit too America oorah to have it in a Jack Ryan story. You pull off an operation this successfully, where you go in within a few hours, you capture the president, you don't take any casualties.
in that show, they didn't capture him though. Oh, they did at the very end of the season. Oh wow, it is just 1-for-1, isn't it? Wow, like, holy shit.
So I'm assuming in the show it takes them a lot longer.
No, in the show, they don't even capture him. What they do is they save the lady, and they save the guy who was captured, the CIA agent, and they said, we're not even gonna kill you, General. We're just gonna let the people deal with you, and the people kill him, or they hang him, or do whatever they do.
Yeah, boy, that's a nice like fantasy, whatever. Yeah.
It's propaganda, straight up.
Oh yeah, that is straight up propaganda. Yeah. Also, comical idea of
Like getting thrown out of the helicopter, getting eaten by the zombies.
yeah.
You got anything else to say on the Maduro thing?
Very impressive maneuver on our part. It is funny that this happens and then it immediately is just memed about. It's almost like Grok rolling out its add a bikini to him function. Was perfectly timed for this, and I wonder if it was almost coordinated as such.
Probably.
It very well might have been, actually.
I mean, you know me. I'm like very conspiratorial.
Can you pull up on Twitter the White House Biggie,
White House Biggie?
or maybe even search it. Do the White House official account.
Which one of these?
That one, the active one, not the archive. Do they have it pinned? No, go down. You probably have to go scroll down for a little bit. I don't have the exact keyword.
What am
to
I
look
looking for here?
You're looking for something with Rubio and Maduro, and no, go down. Also, Rubio really has become a very prominent person. Let's see. Go down. I think it was like the day, right? Oh, wait. Go up. Wait, don't go down. Go down. I see it. Go down. That one. Play that.
This one?
Yeah. Play it from the beginning.
Venga por mí. Aquí lo espero en Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar. Cobarde.
The White House posted
And now,
this.
if you don't know, now you know.
Holy shit. That's awesome. Yo, this is some gangsty shit.
Yeah.
Whoever's working the White House Twitter is on some fun shit.
The entirety of all the government official Twitter accounts are run by I don't know who, but all of them are run by like big right-wing meme lords. They literally just recruit a bunch of young guys or relatively
Sensitive young men.
Yeah, they recruit a bunch of guys to run all of their Twitter comm departments.
Sensitive young men.
Yeah,
Anything else?
that's all on Maduro.
All right, let's take a quick break. Okay, so for the third part, I came across a funny tweet by it was all over fucking Twitter for the past like couple days. It's by this guy Justin Murphy.
Yeah, I know Justin Murphy. I like him actually. Yeah, talking about his son being gay, wanting to play with him.
Son, I'm pretty sure he didn't say that, but he wrote this long ass tweet. I'll actually just read it because we could zoom in then.
Yeah.
From the actual linky link. It's so much. I'm just gonna fucking read it. So Justin Murphy tweeted, to much controversy, "Am I just a monster? It's been 4 years since I became a father, and I'm beginning to fear for my soul. The truth is, I just don't like being around kids for very long. Historically, this is not uncommon among fathers, but today it feels almost illegal. It's causing me a lot of confusion and anguish. The ideal amount of time I would like to spend playing with my kids is probably about 70 to 140 minutes a week, roughly 10 minutes each day, maybe 2 times per day, taking breaks from work. My feelings of love toward them are perfectly strong, but if I have to watch them or entertain them for more than about 10 minutes, my blood starts to boil. I just want to be working or accomplishing something. I try to be grateful, but it doesn't work. It's 9 a.m. this morning, Saturday, January 3rd. It's a sunny, warm day here in Austin, and my 4-year-old son is begging me to play catch in the street. I was drinking coffee, still waking up, so I didn't really feel like it. But at this age, his desire to play is insatiable. He begged and begged, so I conceded, and with a smile. I have no problem being a kind and loving father. The problem is only that I do not enjoy it. It's not that I'm trying to maximize my personal pleasure. It just seems wrong that I experience so little delight when my dad friends all claim to experience so much. It was beautiful. We live on a picturesque tree-lined block. I am even relatively relaxed from the holiday rest. Playing catch with your son is supposed to be an iconic peak experience. Yet for every single minute on the inside, I just don't want to be there. I want to be drinking my coffee in peace. Then I feel guilty and absurdly ungrateful and ashamed when we're done. I know that when he is a teenager, I'll long to have these days back. I have all of this perspective rationally, and I've been very patient and steadfast trying to digest it, but nothing fixes me emotionally. Am I a terrible person, or is my feeling within a certain range of historically normal and its modern parenting norms that are off? Whether it's my fault or not, I don't even care. I just want to figure this out. Something is wrong, and I no longer have the excuse of being new to this. I think it's, fuck. I mean,
I don't know, neither of us are fathers.
yeah, but a lot of people seem to care about this post for some reason. What? He doesn't like being around his kid. Big deal. I know.
Not all the time. He's not even saying I hate my kid. He says like, honestly, this isn't like, you know, this is like a Calvin and Hobbes. Basically, he wrote a shit ton of them out and being like, kind of like existential, neurotic about it. But this is just like a Calvin and Hobbes sketch. Literally, I think, or any other like parental comic thing where like the parent's really tired and groggy and the kid's filled with energy because it's a little kid versus a middle-aged person. This is not historically, even like the exact dynamics of it. It literally, he wrote a lot of words to say, that feel when you're dead tired and just want your coffee, but your son wants to play catch. This is the greatest moment of my life. I wish he was still in bed. Or some like if he had written some short dad humor bit, no one would have any issue with it and they would agree and he would get the exact same sentiment across. Maybe I'm wrong in that feeling, but I suspect, based on my experience with my parents, there's plenty of times when as a parent, it seems when you're tired, you're exhausted, whatever, and you're just doing the best you can. This might actually be a situation, actually, where many people in the audience don't have kids, so they don't know the frustration of it. They only know the experience of being a child.
Before we go there. So yeah, you're basically talking about the responses to this post. I'm sure you read some of them because like this kind of blew up on.
Yeah, I saw some response and whatever.
Let's see some of them. David Sutcliffe. I don't know who the fuck that is. I promise you, everyone dunking on this has something equally dark in their shadow. Interesting take. Who else?
Yeah.
You got.
That's true.
Anna Kachian. The most insulting thing about the Justin Murphy post everyone's talking about. No, wait. Let me do it in my real Anna voice. The most insulting thing about the Justin Murphy post everyone's talking about isn't that he's having these thoughts. It's that he's intellectually arrogant enough to think his work is special and important, yet feels the need to crowdsource psychic relief from retarded strangers online.
Decent take.
I guess. And the fact that you gave a take kind of like already makes you, you know.
I know, it's the discourse. We're all engaged in on the MMO called Twitter.
This is the garbage this guy is so desperate to spend his time on instead of with his kids. Imagine this being your basically he's just bagging on him because he writes stuff and he's a PhD. He has a PhD.
Yeah, once again, the big factor is just that he wrote so much and is so like agonizing and writing in like this self-condemning way.
Maybe people are also triggered because they feel like their dads hate them.
Yeah, that's actually a big factor. They know what it's like to be a kid but not to be a parent.
Not now.
Like if you see, I'm not about like hitting a kid, but plenty of people react poorly when they see like a parent that's really impatient with a kid freaking out.
I love that Andrew Tate responded to this. Totally
Yeah.
normal. You're just cocked by the modern woman.
Be at war impregnating more women.
You should be at war impregnating more women. 2 to 3 hours a week is perfect amount with a kid. That's why I have a double-digit kids from 8 women. White people have been cocked by females and don't even reproduce enough because they're forced to play patty cake. Men,
Yeah, this is more. I mean, Andrew Tate is just. He's just saying like the opinions of an Arab with like a red pill internet guy lens.
I think he motivates a lot of like at least dudes kind of adjacent to the left at least to like be like super strong and work out because they like don't want to live in a world where this guy could beat the fuck out of them, you know?
I don't know about that. I feel like I don't know about that. As I said, Andrew Tate's biggest quality as a persona, as a figure.
Do you think Hasanabi could beat up Andrew Tate?
No, Andrew Tate actually has done MMA.
Kickboxing, not
kickboxing. Thank you.
Kickboxing.
Yeah,
not
Tate
allowed
would win that fight. Yeah,
Interesting.
whereas like Hassan Piker is literally Mac. When Mac was buff in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he only has vanity muscles.
You need to form your. Some of the comments say you need to reform yourself to desire the good. You have let yourself become ill-informed. You do not desire what is good. You are not fixed or stuck like this. You can change. Yes, it's historically abnormal, but that doesn't make it any less important or good.
Also, I don't think it is historically abnormal. Like every parent mentions repeatedly levels of exhaustion, exasperation, frustration, pain with their kids. That's not unusual. I'm standing by my take. I don't know if I'm sure other people have made, but I'm standing by my take that he just wrote too many words in a self-condemning way about a normal quality about being a parent, which fits for him. Like everything, as I said, once again, this is you can open a Sunday comic strip, and there's been numerous jokes made about this dynamic.
I'm gonna reply to this.
What? Go ahead, yeah.
I'm gonna reply to this post. I'm going to say, can I use Grok if I'm not like a premium user?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. I'm gonna do it.
I think you can.
I'm gonna make a request from Grok. Oh shit.
Grok, put this text in bikini.
Replace this man's outfit with clear tape. Grok, please rephrase this post using less words and in a way that is less infuriating. I want to see what Grok says.
Yeah.
How long does Grok take to like usually?
If it responds, it'll be a few minutes.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice to know. Oh, someone likes my stupid fucking. He warhammered across the room 40,000 Lee.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Grok has to say. But yeah, having kids definitely a tough dig. The problem with having kids is it's completely voluntary. I mean, if you're raped, yes, that's a little out of your fucking control.
You know, in America, you basically get an abortion in most places.
I mean, the harsh truth is like, yo, we still got 2 more parts. Make sure you slow down on the wine, brother.
Thank you, as always.
Nah, it's all good. We're both heavy drinkers, but
you're right. We need to slow down. I got too more parts. Yeah.
No, I don't even mind because like.
No, I get too drunk anyway.
I'm not even driving.
That's true.
Shit.
My own efficacy, everyone said.
Kids. You want kids.
Though you're correct that my revealed preferences don't suggest that. It's more of a vague desire in the future as I continue to creep up in age.
For me, it's less of a vague desire, more of a, I definitely don't want kids now, but I probably will have them. I think it'll be a waste. I think my dad sees it too. He'll be like, yo, I mean, listen, your siblings have the genetics of the woman who went for the guy after he like, you know, settled down. You know, your genetics is like, you know, like
if anything, it's the only serious motivation I've ever had in my life. When I think about it, if I think, do I really want to pursue this? It's the only thing that makes me feel like I would want to get myself together to make it happen.
You can make it happen now if you want.
That's true. That's true. So it's silly of me to put it that way. to do it right.
There is no doing it right.
That's true too.
There's no such thing as doing any of this right.
Yeah.
Because personally, well, there's also
it is just that I don't want to do it yet. You're right.
well, there's also my personal belief that I believe everyone's the same soul living out different lives in different bodies. So if you're doing this, know that you're not really doing this for a legacy, because that's bullshit.
No, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I'd be doing it to have a child and to. I'm doing it just because.
I know why I
It
do
seems
it.
beautiful.
I would
It
be
seems beautiful, and it seems. I feel like I would be a more fully realized person seeing myself in another individual and seeing them reflect back at me, which is narcissistic.
Is it?
Maybe not actually, because I want them to be their own person and to surprise me in a million different ways I never thought of.
Well, I would do it kind of as like spiritual communal service. You know,
Yeah.
doing my duty as a human being, because if no one has kids, then no one gets to play this game.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I agree with that.
worked
That's a
and
good way of
I've
putting
worked
it.
on myself enough to understand that yes, the game is not pleasant for everyone. In fact, for most people, it downright sucks, and they don't even know why they're doing it.
Mhm.
I've worked on myself, not to the point where I'm done. You know, like I'm a finished piece. I've done it to the point where it's like I could say I enjoy my life. You know, and like if there's anything that I feel like is lacking, is the ability to enjoy life in the world. You know. And I think if I found that, and if it is a rare thing, because I feel like most people don't enjoy life, honestly. I mean, if I asked them like up front and, you know, like put them on the spot, they might be inclined or biased to say yes in that moment. But, you know, I look online and it's always people like talking about how life is bad in some way, you know? Maybe because that's just more resonant, but that also is a mirror that kind of in itself that says something, you know? The algorithm is the algorithm. It doesn't really have an agenda other than the agenda you feed it. So if it's showing me this shit, and I'm not like that, I know that, and I know it does. First of all, the people who really don't jive with me, they really don't jive with me. They'll like outright unfollow me, block me, like want to have nothing to do with me, and not even argue with me. So there's that. So basically, the people that I'm left with are the people, just normal people, you know. No one on the far end, because I'm not trying to rock the boat. So that leaves me with witnessing 90% of the people on social media just bitching about their lives. Like, what do I do with that? Other than, I think I figured out something that they didn't figure out. Does that make me better? No. Does that make me like any of a superior being than them? No. It just means I made different choices. And we're not talking about like, what do I have for breakfast today, or what major do I want to take in college? No, we're talking about the most fundamental choice. Do I believe in God? Am I grateful for life? Would I be okay if I died today? Like, would I be able to die, like, you know, without too much turmoil? I think I could. Like, if I have no choice in the matter and someone shot me and I was like, my ghost was standing over my dead body, I wouldn't feel too fucked up about it. I'd be like, well, there's nothing I could do about it now. I guess I'm just gonna see what's next. I mean, I didn't leave behind children. I didn't leave behind like a grieving father with an only son. No, like I'm good. I'm a free agent, and I find my life has vastly improved after adopting that state, as opposed to I am my father's son. I am an agent of this world. I must, you know, like I must share my beauty. I must experience everything this life has to offer. Me. I. But then once you get over that, it's like now it's just like cool, you know. If you want to do it, awesome. If you don't want to do it, I totally get that too.
Yeah.
No matter how you live, you still end up in the same fucking box at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I try to remind people of. You know, especially some like, you know, like every once in a while I'll see people crack, you know, on Facebook, like some of my old friends from like We Can Discuss Politics and shit. And they're like, they'll be like, I'm considering suicide or something. And I'm just like, I say what I always say. It's like, yo, none of us have to be alive. There's really nothing stopping us from killing ourselves. Honestly, we're not obligated to be here. We just want
Living is a choice.
Yeah. The sooner you accept that, the sooner. Well,
I don't even think it's depends how you frame it. It's not even a harsh thing. I think that's actually a very life-affirming, stoic thing to say.
Well, it's very harsh for a lot of people because they define themselves by their story. They define themselves by their past. They define themselves.
In a
by
period of time of suicidality, an older friend of mine said something similar, albeit in like quirky, kinder
They
language.
really feel they're a mistake of nature.
Mm.
They're rational people. You know, when you're suicidal to a point beyond emotionality, then you're just thinking like, I was a mistake. I shouldn't exist. Because I don't see anything redeeming about myself that could contribute to this world in a meaningful or valuable way. Henceforth, I should die.
Sometimes I wonder about people who definitely would have died in childhood in the past.
Sometimes I wonder if like the people who are suicidal nowadays would have been a lot more at home with like a battle axe in their hand, just indiscriminately fucking hacking away at peasants in a.
Maybe they would have. It would have put them on an entirely different path. Maybe
Exactly.
they were all screwed up because it wasn't the path that was natural. Maybe they were screwed up because of people that would have died in childhood and never had experience. There's a lot of people that used to die in
And
childhood.
the Western canons have no recourse for that. It's only the Eastern way now. In the modern world as we know it in the year 2026, it's the Eastern traditions that will see you through this point. Maybe after we get over this wave, then the Western canon will become useful again. The left hemisphere shit, you know? I just know in the current epoch, you can't be thinking like in the materialist framework. It's not going to work for you, especially because everything is so abundant. And when you're a strict materialist in such an abundant world, it's so easy to trick you into believing you don't have enough of this, you don't have enough of that. And if I could trick you enough to believe you don't have enough of something, then I can make you do dastardly shit. Because you're going to justify it in your head. You're going to be like, well, I have to do this. It's for survival of people like me. And people both on the left and the right are guilty of this.
Yeah. I don't know. The modern right, due to the internet right being disproportionately influential, you have a lot of people that are effectively like I myself am really like a leftist in personality and taste, lifestyle. I just have like ideological differences. But I don't know, maybe more broadly among like a wider range of people, this sentiment still exists because it feels like everyone's becoming more and more, perhaps due to abundance, everyone becomes more detached, atomized, suicidal. I've gone down a detour here, incoherently rambling. Excuse me.
I mean, look. What were you saying before in terms of like but right before you said you took a detour, what was the last thing you said?
I wonder how common this experience is in the broader world outside of the internet, like selective data we have, the types of people we interact with. I feel like it's common, but I don't know where or how much. Or where.
No, there is it's a mixture of multiple little factors, but there's clearly now a generational cultural shift in power. We're in charge now.
Yeah.
It sucks to
Just
admit.
like this connects to Mamdani, yeah. Yes, we have to grow up. I guess we're
Heavy hangs
adults
the-
now.
Exactly. Heavy hangs the head that wears a crown. We're in charge of the culture.
I guess we're adulting now.
Terrorisk, fucking Mamdani, fucking Justin Murphy being what everyone seems to be fucking talking about in nowhere. It's like who my own friend, this girl who knows him personally, texted me. She texted him and she showed me the screenshots about it. I'm like, yeah, it really is a smaller world to us millennials because we're in charge now. Maybe not in terms of like, you know, pulling the strings of like global economy and, you know, the meta game, but when it comes to culture, yeah, it's in the millennials' hands now.
I don't know if I can find the exact strip if we're talking about Justin Murphy's tweet here. Could you Google, or can I Google actually? Here, I'll do it while I'm talking to you.
Wait, what?
Google Calvin and Hobbes coffee.
What about it?
Let me see. What I don't know. I keep trying to bang on this point.
What about it?
I think really what Justin Murphy did is like standard parenting frustration commentary, but he's framing in this long, overly, not that strip, though that strip actually performs the function I'm looking at. Here, you can pull this up on the camera.
Yeah, Calvin and Hobbes shit. It's like, oh,
Okay.
those darn kids say the darndest things.
Yeah, I think it's an experience that seems corny or weird when you're a kid.
No, I get it.
I think, perfectly common for let me put it this way. It's perfectly common for a parent to say, I fucking hate my kid when he does stupid shit or when he wakes up me early and it's running into my life. Maybe you genuinely really fucking are angry and have these complex
You're
feelings.
trying, basically, you want to sympathize with Justin. I get it.
I do,
with Justin
actually,
too.
yeah.
That's all you're saying. That's
No,
this really
I think
is.
his fuck up here is writing 5 paragraphs about it.
Yeah, but he's making money now.
Yeah, is he getting paid?
Yeah,
by,
he's making his fucking.
Is it
Twitter
views or is it word count?
Andrew Tate fucking.
No, you're
replied to
right
this shit.
because you're right. He's baiting people with this.
No, I don't
This
know
is
about that,
troll.
but
No,
once
he is. He's baiting them for views and reposts and to be the main character of the day.
Well, it's worked.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's his intention. Honestly, I really don't think it is.
What do you think?
Because it's not the hill you want to die on. If you want to be famous, you're going to do it on terms that you actually control. And I don't think Justin Murphy wanted to be seen as that guy. He wanted to be seen as the guy who wrote The Independent Scholar, not the guy who fucking hates hanging out with his kid. Because
It's
you
also
saw
very
it. You
similar
saw it. He
to-
made that post, it blew up, and then he posted some shit about his book right after. Everyone was like, I don't give a fuck about this.
Man, maybe whatever. He still gets views from it.
I don't think that was his goal.
maybe.
That wasn't his goal.
Nut Hansen, like the guy who wrote My Struggle, his long autobiography where he's painfully detailed about every routine, including saying things like,
I just don't
I'm
think
wiping
it's not-
shit for my
it's not
child's
a grift.
ass.
I don't think it's a grift. That wasn't a grift.
A moment of weakness, a failing, a genuine feeling. What do you think?
Invulnerability, all of the above. A social failing, a personal vulnerability, weakness as a father, all of the above. All of it. It could be all of it. And that's why so many people are reacting to it, because it touches different aspects of people's experiences. For some people, it reminds them what it's like to have a weak father. For some people, it reminds them what it's like to date or to want to start a family with a narcissistic guy. For some people, it reminds them of, I don't know, having a son that was that refused to give you grandkids and finally did, and he just complains about it. Whatever the case may be, it appeals to a lot of people because they could all relate to it in a different way based on what they project on it. To me, it's not really about him. To me, I think he just did a fucking stupid fucking thing. Great. We all do that online every once in a while. But it's how people react. That's the real juicy part. Fucking Andrew Tate, for fuck's sake. It's perfectly normal. Whereas some other fucking random lib girl from New York that everyone in readings go to knows, it's like, oh, this is so cruel. I just can't even read it. It's so upsetting. It's like they're both idiots, what can I say?
Yeah, everyone's performing their routine, their act.
Well, I think the emotions are real. I think people do feel strong.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, hell, when actors are acting, I bet you very intensely feel the I always have trouble. I have intense trouble acting. That's something I could never do.
Why?
It's really hard for me to get out of my head or my sense of who I am and to feel the emotions being summoned up. But I'm sure actors genuinely feel the emotions they're performing when they're acting.
I think to act successfully, you have to be more of who you are. And you have to be less of what you think you are. Right now, you think you're Carmen, you think you're this, you think you're a white guy, you think you're this all, but there's really, again, there's not much different from you than being like a midget, from Mexico, who's a female, who strips at a novelty strip joint. But that's all perspective based.
Yeah.
If you shifted your perspective, this would be accessible to you. But the problem is, if you did shift your perspective in that way, it would really undo a lot of frameworks you already have set that informed you and carried you thus far. But I don't think you'd be completely helpless if they broke on you. I think you could easily rebuild them. Ontological shock, as they call it. I mean, even if a person never reached ontological shock at that point in their life, you could still tell they're the kind of person who would lean into it if when the chance comes up, But yeah, acting. I think acting with the skilled, most talented actors are kind of like on that like psychic level. They're on a metaphysical game. They have to be. You can't act properly without that.
Yeah.
CIA operatives do the same thing. They pretend to be other people. That's essentially acting. It's all It's a mentalism.
Yeah.
It's all mentalism. And the only way you could like master mentalism is if you let go of the weights that currently hold your abilities down. And right now, what holds everyone down is ego. And ego, not in the bad sense, like pride in a simple sense. No, I'm saying all the identity of the individual. You could keep that while transcending it too. Like just because I believe I'm the same soul living out different lifetimes in different bodies, and just because I'm grateful for every day, doesn't mean Chris doesn't have needs. Doesn't mean Chris doesn't have wants and desires. Chris is allowed to manifest them. Everyone else is. What the fuck? As long as Chris does so while keeping the soul in check and in harmony, then Chris could do that with more confidence, because Chris knows that unlike 90% of the people who don't even fucking acknowledge their soul, Chris does and lives intentionally in that way. So I don't care, what I get into. It doesn't matter whether it's acting or music or podcasting. Like at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not making anyone do anything. I'm not forcing anyone into anything they don't want to be in. I'm not taking anything from anyone. So like what do I have to be scared about? I could do whatever the fuck I want if I follow my own framework, I could act. I could fucking, play guitar. I could do all that shit. I could probably write a stupid fucking hip hop album and be like a prolific millennial Asian American hip hop artist if I wanted to. Backpack hip hop. Graffiti.
It'd be fun to be any backpack hip hopper starting at like 40 is just an inherently fun bit.
It would be a very millennial thing to do. Yeah. I could probably do it,
Yeah, you probably do a fantastic job of it.
A lot of people are like, man, this reminds you of like 2006, man. Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. Like, so yeah, I know how to do all that shit. It's just, what do I want, But this Terrorisk, I think, is very important, because this is proving to be like everything. Because like in the modern age, especially when everyone has access to like language model tools and stuff, like you can't just be a musician. You can't just be a writer. You can't just be a comedian. You kind of have to be a Renaissance man. And if everyone's a Renaissance man, then what really sets you apart? If everyone can do everything, what is it then? It's your essence. It's your fucking soul. It's your flavor. It's your experience. It's their frequency, right? And that's way more fundamental. And it's probably deeper than anyone's willing to look in themselves. Like it's deeper than ideology. It's deeper than cultural taste. It's deeper than nationality. Deeper than religion. Because we're talking about Renaissance men here. If in a world full of Renaissance men,
yes.
How do these fucking Javas adapt to that? They can't. Most people are still banking on the idea like I could be the most prolific musician in my circles. I could be the most blah blah blah. They don't get it. They don't see where the world is headed, where humanity's headed. They're fucked. They're going to be playing a losing game now. Hyper individualism is not going to work. I mean, it didn't go away. It's just we grew past it. We didn't like deny it. We grew past it. We want to either deny it or embrace it. That's the wrong way to look. That's still like looking at the left or right swing of the pendulum and not the vertical swing that's happening right now, I'm sure you're tasting it too, and like I'm showing you firsthand like the shit that an idiot like me could do, with the right tools and the right resources, All you got to do is just do it. Honestly, I hate to say it, but what makes it hardest is other people.
Yeah, I can say. I mean, just
no, not for me, for anybody, for anyone to endeavor in their pursuits. It's other people that make it hard. Whether it's family, enemies, bosses, coworkers.
I guess this connects to Justin Murphy too. Yeah,
it does. I mean, that's what I meant for. Like, it's the question is like, why are you having kids? It's like you ask that of anybody, and you ask me, why would you have a kid? And you're not talking to someone who's just like, again, who's just materialistic, who's like completely engaged in like 3-dimensional living. It's like, no, I believe in a soul. I believe we're all the same soul living at different times in different bodies. If I'm creating a kid, I'm creating another incarnation of all of us.
And you're creating another incarnation of all of us that's living in a very psychologically confusing time, but not a materially stressful time.
But the former I could handle easily. What am I going to do if I had a kid? All I would do is like, hey, you want to swing the sword with me? It's like, sure, papa. And then can we play video games after? Sure, that's what I do all the time.
Honestly, the immaturity of us really probably makes certainly having a son sound a lot more fun.
It could be a girl. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, or a girl. You're right.
Honestly, if it was my kid, like, yeah, it's pretty much how it would go. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's easy. You know, it'd be like Goku having.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like even if they were teenagers, they'd be like, sorry, I did drugs. I crashed my car. I got arrested. I was like, buddy, I did all of that shit.
Yeah.
You're not gonna, I know my kids would never do anything as worse than me other than like, unless they were really fucked up in the head, which would probably be my fault in some foreseeable way anyway, you know?
I don't know if that's how my dad felt about me. I barely did anything. He was always bothered by how lame I was, really, in a lot of ways. Not bothered, but
No, I think he
reassured, actually, probably too.
No, not bothered. I think he just saw a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I remember when I was your age, and if I only made this decision opposite of what you're making now, like.
I think maybe more surprised that I wasn't doing hooliganism like him.
Yeah, because they don't want you to be different from them. They want you to be a better version of them.
Yeah. Maybe I know he loved me no matter what. Maybe there was a little bit of the Simpsons joke where Rainier Wolfcastle is talking about his upcoming movie, Help My Son Is a Nerd, where he's horrified, where his son comes back from college and he's horrified that he turned out to be a nerd. And Ken Brockman, the reporter, says, I'm laughing already. And he says, it's not a comedy.
Heavy shit, man. Kids. I mean, all right. So, like, I don't know. If I had a kid, I feel like, again, I would just be making another version of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would just be like, here you go, free agent. But I also have faith, you know, because it's really it's the patterns they're exposed to, and I know my patterns. Like, I'm very acutely aware of them. I write them down fucking every day, journaling, you know.
Yeah.
In fact, I think my relationship with my hypothetical children would be a lot better than like in theory than with the mother of my children, because romance is way more fickle than like, you know, offspring and parent.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine being with a woman and then you're looking at the woman as another version of yourself. Meanwhile, she wants to be. But what if two people shared the same perspective and did this endeavor? You know, like.
That's part of parenting and the union that comes therefrom.
It's a more spiritual union.
Yeah.
Not religious. Maybe it could be post-religious.
Yeah.
I do think I am kind of post-religious. I mean, it's like when you could say your duty to God and duty to humanity is like one and the same. I think that's the right perspective. I remember people tried to get me with it, but it's like it's hard because you can't just. We're working with metaphysics here. Like one person was like, "Oh, you think you may have a gotcha, but if everyone is God and you don't care what anyone thinks, then you're going against God." And I said, I never said everyone is God. I said God is within everyone. The part of me that may not care what you think is pretty inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. So even that supersedes like whatever material logic if you're trying to cling to your identity as God. No, it doesn't work that way. The part that you think is you is not you. Because it's thinking. No, you're the one who can watch your thoughts, who can watch your emotions, who can observe your bodily state. You're not your body, you're not your thoughts, and you're not your emotions. You're the thing that observes those things. If you can allow yourself to. Most people think they are their emotions. Most people think they are their thoughts. They think they are their body. They think they are their story. You're not any of those things. You're something way more fundamental than that. I think consciousness is more fundamental than the entire human. I think the entire human is literally just a receiver of consciousness. Consciousness exists elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then our brains are kind of like a filter where once consciousness gets ultimate consciousness gets beamed in, and then it goes through a filtration process where it kind of comes out as like individual perception.
There's part of that. I mean, we have a physical body in this three-dimensional space. That probably is there is a consciousness within it. The atoms of our body have a consciousness. The human organism has a consciousness. And there is also the self.
Yeah.
That is could also be a receiver or is one.
I do think the human body and the brain, at least on the biological level, it's purely just a transceiver.
Yeah.
Or a receiver, I should say. And the building blocks of the receiver isn't like circuits and fucking damn, you downed it. No, it's okay. We got enough time. No, it's like fucking DNA.
Yeah.
It's instead of silicon, you know?
And that in and of itself probably has a greater consciousness than silicone.
Yeah. DNA is made of what? Proteins?
Yeah, it's protein strands. They're made up of smaller units called alleles. Largely, it's like a code that tells proteins how to form.
Yep.
A blueprint in the usual cliches.
And according to modern technology, it's not programmable.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Spliceable, manipulatable.
Yeah, it's not Lego DNA like in popular conception.
Oh no, you have to go through all these trials when it comes to like molecular combinations and all that shit.
Yeah. But it is there very strong. I mean,
And it's only gonna improve.
Yeah.
And it's not just about AI. People focus on AI a lot, but they forget about quantum computing, which is developing quietly along, you know?
Yeah, there's been a bunch of other smaller developments that have happened within our lifetime that go without fanfare. A lot of packaging of consumer product, of like food items, a lot more ergonomical than it used to be. Not always, but a lot of things are more ergonomically packaged.
Of course.
Yeah, there's, did you have, when you're in New York, maybe it was just what my parents were getting, but I don't remember avocados from childhood. Like, I was aware of their existence as a foreign berry, but I don't think I had an avocado. Well, I guess I probably had guacamole. Never mind. I feel like I never ate avocado and things until I was like an adult.
I ate a lot of shit growing up, only because all my Gen X or family members were into that. I think that's what their generation did. Like our generation is into consumption of products and media. Gen X, I think, was very into like food and drink and you know.
Millennials did a huge amount to improve food and drink across the country.
No, they didn't.
Yes, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
Millennials created, you know how much crap millennials invented?
No, yeah, but when I was a kid growing up in a small rural town, like there was like the college coffee house or whatever. But when I went back to Maine a few years ago, there was multiple microbreweries, coffee shops.
What's so great about them?
The quality improved. Coffee, when I was like 14, I first tried coffee up in Maine. It was dog shit. It was like only Folgers, genuinely, or chock full of nuts.
Walk me through what's so great about the coffee now in Maine?
I can go into a place and get a proper espresso that I never experienced until I moved to Boston as a teenager. That genuinely was not something that existed when I was in 1995 in a lot of areas in America. And I think recently things have really caught up. I remember talking to my brother a decade ago when he went from Boston to San Diego on his cross-country bike tour. And he mentioned that so many middle American places he would stop and the only coffee you could get was at a diner and it was dog shit terrible.
I was gonna
and this
say,
was
though,
a decade ago. And Starbucks was actually a relief to him because he remembered hating Starbucks in Boston for having burnt beans, too many syrups added to it. But he said when he found a Starbucks, the coffee was noticeably better than everywhere else in middle America.
But what about it makes it better?
It's far less harsh, smoother taste, more care and production and the quality of ingredients. It's possible to enjoy black coffee. At least for me. If I go and get a nice coffee, I can drink it black. I can't drink a lot of other coffee black.
All right, so I have two prongs to this take.
And there's also a broader thing. I mean, the microbrewery thing, yeah, mostly it's just IPAs.
No, let's stick with coffee.
Okay. Well, beer is another great example where previously almost every single place in the country, with rare exceptions, you could only get domestic macro brews or regional. No, I'm sorry. It's true. Like, you can go into any podunk small town and at least there's a couple of different beer options. I was talking to an older friend, a guy who's 60 now, and he was always an IPA fan from 40 years ago, but he said the only place you could ever get an IPA was in a major city Indian restaurant. That if in Boston or New York, if you went into, you would go to Indian restaurants to drink IPAs because in 1995 they were not available anywhere else. I don't like IPAs, but if you do enjoy them, that is a huge advancement due to millennials in food and drink culture.
See, I like IPAs, which is even funnier. But I have two prongs.
Okay.
I have two-prong take. One prong, even coffee with beer, whatever. I feel like as a New Yorker, one of the most prolific experiences is on a day-to-day grind. It's going to the fucking bodega, getting your shitty cup of coffee. With
It's actually better than a lot of coffee.
That's what I'm saying.
No, like the coffee in the bodega.
No, but it's shit. It's fucking shit.
Yeah, but it's this is actually a rare case. I normally wouldn't pull this. I think that's a rare case of you not having that many experiences in rural or like suburban America, and certainly not.
No,
in the
but
past.
second is if you're gonna do something right, then you got to do it right.
Yeah.
So here's what the Koreans do. Like if you go by Northern Boulevard, what the Koreans do when it comes to their pastry shops and their cafes, they always rip from European technique and they try to go more harder with it.
Yeah.
So I found out that what makes the coffee good when it comes
This is
to
very
those,
East Asian in general, Chinese, Japanese, all the. But
yes, it is. When it comes to their the extremes of Asian pastry making and the coffee that goes with the tea, one of the things that makes the coffee so rich and fine, it's how much time. Well, first there's the quality of the bean, obviously, but how much time you spend actually grinding it. Are you going to make it like a coarse grind, or are you going to make it very, very, very fine? Because the finer you make the grind, the richer the coffee is. Yeah. And that's really the difference. You could take shitty coffee bean, right, that a bodega uses, and if you grind it down like really fine, if you take whole bean and grind it down fine enough, it's going to be way better than say like diner coffee. Yeah. But then that's another thing. I was talking about like how the shitty coarse grind fucking bodega coffee could be so prolific of an experience. Same could be said about shitty diner coffee at a Waffle House. You know, it's like, listen, I'm a truck driver. I'm a tow truck driver working interstate. Like I could go across whatever, and I could always count on a diner having just one of those little standard size mugs, diner size mugs of coffee. Give me my little fucking one-shot creamers and my sugars, and that's its own thing. You know, it's like the infrastructure supports that coffee, that quality coffee, efficiently to the point where you don't have to wait like fucking 15 minutes to get your own special little foam cup with your name written on it with the right syrups and all that shit. Like,
well, that's a needless add-on. That's just actually the sugariness of like.
But I think that
sugar.
stuff is good too. It's just Starbucks satisfies both half-assedly in a weird way, where it's like not really the experience, the actual cultural local experience of the coffee, where it's also not the good shit, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It was interesting. I always thought of Starbucks as absolute shit, but then my brother telling me Starbucks was a relief when I was in Missouri.
Free Wi-Fi, open bathrooms.
Yeah,
decent coffee.
Space, yeah,
it's decent. Yeah. You'll get a cold brew. You'll be set.
Yeah,
it's like the Chipotle of coffee.
Yeah, I mean they came out around the same time. I think I don't know for sure, but
I don't know for sure either. I would consider that like fast.
They seem both. Well, those are definitely both Gen X started companies.
Well, Dunkin' Donuts is like McDonald's of coffee, whereas Starbucks is like Chipotle.
Yeah, very true. Dunkin' Donuts in and of itself, I think, is probably a step forward.
Oh yeah, so we were talking about how the effects of like, you know, the millennial influence on cuisine, like local culture, local cuisine. I mean, fuck. I think millennials.
A lot of people at various points in time over the last 15 years have left Brooklyn and gone to second, third tier cities and brought a certain level of competency that was lacking there before.
No millennial, no hipster fucking created anything truly timeless. All right, IPAs have existed way before fucking millennials were a thing. All right, these fucking clothes they wear is literally vintage. It literally exists before.
Yeah.
Like millennials don't make anything new. All they do is just sensationalize shit.
Well, we synthesized and curated a bunch of things that existed before. It's much like how, being the first generation growing up with the internet, we had a level of knowledge or access to like music, media, etc.
I agree with that.
Raised the standards.
I agree with that.
It's like without directly creating anything new, millennials improved the quality of life in this very basic way.
You know what it is?
across
It's
the
like saying
board.
like Gen X made better songs, whereas millennials made better DJ sets with those songs.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way of putting it, for sure.
It's a great way to put it, honestly. Like the Gen Xers make better painters, whereas the millennials probably make better gallery owners. But I don't believe in that because I guess I'm more old school. I believe in being the craftsman. I see myself as more of a craftsman than curator. Mm-hmm. But because we live in the modern world, I'm forced to adopt a curator role. Especially with the tools you're given. It's like you're telling me it's like all the work of creation is offloaded and now I can focus on curating myself. Yeah. Sign me the fuck up. Anyway, that concludes the third part. We're going to take a quick recess. I just got to take a quick pee. We'll get back to it. We're on to the third part. This is where we talk about creativity. And I guess I could talk about the streaming. Yeah, we're going to do some streaming, you know. That should be fun. Well, Terrorisk is going to be doing some streaming. I don't know if Carmen is into streaming. You're not into streaming, right?
I'll try it.
Yeah?
But I can clean out. I don't know. My schedule's also so tough already, but I could try cleaning out a slot.
No, I mean, I think we should also try streaming the podcast. I mean,
yeah, that's true. That I could do.
I just got to set up like a whole YouTube profile for it, but it should be fine. I mean, I'm excited to stream games and then maybe get more people into.
We could have a LAN party right here if I brought my laptop.
Oh shit! Like a Wi-Fi party.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're on the same Wi-Fi connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, streaming is fun. I mean, I used to not get it. I used to be like, what the fuck? Like, why would people waste their time on this shit? But then I realized,
I think for a lot of people, it's preferable to playing video games.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't mean of course. I don't know if that's always the case. What I think, I mean, that might be partially the reason. I think I'm spoiled as like a New Yorker or a person who always lived near a city.
Yeah.
Because the vast majority of America there's not much to do.
Yeah.
Other than like drugs and alcohol and violence, you know, like really, like when you get down to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're lucky enough to be like, you know, of the class that learns how to play an instrument, maybe learns how to paint or get influenced by art, maybe which is like a class thing at that point. Mm-hmm. But the vast majority of people don't have much to do in America other than, you know, like going out to a city every once in a while, which we live in.
Right. The city.
So streaming kind of makes sense to me. And added on top.
Yes, that's true. It is that makes a lot of sense because when you're in New York, you actually have a very active meat space life, whereas many people, even in major cities, if they're not like, you know, if it's Houston or whatever.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah. You might be in a city, maybe you can do something on the weekend, but through much of the week you can't.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the fucking same.
What else? Here's a question because I don't know game wise. This is a very intriguing thought. You ever play Heroes of Might and Magic 3?
No, but I've seen it.
What's a strategy like slower turn based thing you've played?
Final Fantasy.
That could be competitive, not a single player game.
A competitive?
Yeah, theoretically.
Turn-based strategy game?
Yeah. Like Civilization, you ever played? It doesn't have to be turn-based. As I said, like Paradox Grand Strategy games are real time.
Oh, yeah. I'm not really used to playing RTS online. Like, I was never great at that. Because to me, it's a different experience.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it totally is.
Yeah, it's more about the meta. It's like you've played enough single player where you just memorized all the technology trees, where you just know everything to the point.
That's like fighting games. Like memorizing all the moves, whatever. That is just the baseline of playing.
I think RTS really provided a good ground, a framework for PvE.
Yeah, we talked about before about how the RTS genre died and how it's split into various subgenres.
But the general consensus now is PvP and PvE. PvP has its own vibe. It has its own flow, its own energy, its own method. You basically have to cut out margins, reduce the deltas. You basically have to just like reduce all your inefficiencies, cut out every wasted movement, and just memorize everything. You know, because every time spent guessing is time wasted. Like every minute spent guessing is time wasted. So yeah, I would say versus PvE. So for streaming, this actually has to do a lot with streaming because there's people that want to see different things from a streamer. There's people that want to see a streamer get sweaty. They want to see that Fortnite player or that Warzone player like going clutch. Like all three teammates died, and suddenly it's just like 5 other guys left. But if he could kill all 5 of those guys, the whole team wins. And you're like, there's no way he could do it. And he does it, and you're like, holy shit, that's like a pop-off moment. You're like, what the fuck? You know, that's a moment worthy of watching the game, or just throw the controller, rip his shirt off, and just go crazy. Because that's dopamine. That's raw, like, pure dopamine right there. Without the use of drugs, without the use of violence. It's pure, like, stimulus dopamine. And that's the real thing. It's like when you play video games, like, if you're a modern gamer who understands, like, the flow of games and why you play games, you become a dopamine hunter. You understand?
You do, yeah. I mean, it's highly addictive, yeah.
You understand that's why you're playing. So when you're a streamer, you understand that's what you're farming. You're farming dopamine for the viewer.
You're performing for the viewer.
Yeah, but you're playing in a way where it's like you're either performing really good or you do like a PvE game where it's like, you know, you're playing and you read a comment. It's like, how did you get into this game? It's like, all right, I got to pause this. So how I got into like Ace Combat 7 is because I've been a fan of this series since Ace Combat 4. And, you know, my friend got me into it because I was into Armored Core and he was like, yo, you would really like Ace Combat. So I think like those conversations are very valuable too, aside from just watching a player get sweaty and go crazy clutch. I really like those streamers too who play PvE games or single player games who can engage with the chat more, you know? Whereas if you're watching like, you know, the top 100 player of Fortnite, you're like, I'm not here to talk. I'm here to see one thing, you know? Maybe
You know, an interesting thing, I don't know, not to keep hammering it, but like a Paradox interactive game, it's real time, but with pause.
Dude.
And it could actually have like a cooperative thing where we're recording an episode,
Bro.
and playing at the same time and commenting on it, right?
Let's go on Twitch right now and see if anyone's playing Stellaris. I bet you someone is streaming Stellaris. I bet you there's a lot of people watching it.
Be interesting, multiple people playing at once.
Okay, never mind.
No?
Actually, this would be a really good game to stream. I think like good games.
Maybe it's too drawn out. Maybe it's too far spread, but I don't know.
No. Like if you look at like this spread, like I just look up the category, and there's only like literally on Twitch, there's only like
How many people are streaming Europa Universalis 5?
I guess we could find out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to force you to play like a white autism
No,
simulator.
Europa's a good game. It's Europa Universalis 5.
Hmm?
There's 4 people streaming. Yeah, there's 4 people. There's like 4 people streaming it.
Mm.
So these games are good to stream because like it's a niche game that's good.
Lurker friendly, chill, chatty are the tags.
Yeah, exactly. However, most of these people probably don't have like bombastic, entertaining personality.
That's true, actually. Click on the one that with. Oh wait, no, we're live. We're recording.
I think you might be allowed. I think there's a fair use policy with like Twitch streamers. See, he's probably not saying anything. This is some guy in Japan or some woman in Japan. I don't know.
What kind of game is he playing?
Europa Universalis.
So let's say it's a guy or a trans woman.
Okay, that's fair enough.
There is no cis woman playing, let alone streaming Europa Universalis 5.
That's actually a really fair assessment. I'd say I'd agree with it. So yeah, I'm kind of look. I was a hater of Twitch for a very long time. I'll admit it. But I realize I can't shy away from streaming. If I want Terrorisk to like be an expanding thing, I have to do it. You know, like I'm not gonna like drag people into this. Because if I could make it work, that'll be proof of concept. Then I could say like, all right, we got to do this now. You know, we got to go into it. And I think I'm gonna make it work because I'm looking at other streamers. I'm like, what are they lacking? You know, like what can I do that they can't do? And it's like a lot of shit apparently. You know, when it comes to like production and editing elements, like software, like it's not just music now. It's like video and streaming and. Like I finally feel like again, like my ADHD skill set is like coalescing into something, you know. Which is kind of true for any artist, whether you're a musician, whether you're a writer, whether you're a person that likes to make videos, whatever. You're gonna have to like kind of get into everything, you know. At the end of the day. Unless you're a hobbyist, like if you're a hobbyist Twitter poster, for example, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know? If you don't want to take it anywhere, okay. But you know, eventually, like this is the way. At least I learned the method, and I'm just surprised. At first, I was surprised at why the method to like going, say, like building a content creation base is why it isn't more common knowledge. And I realized like there was a point to what Maxor said, like neurotypical people can't do this shit, and he's kind of right. Maybe it is. I mean, I don't believe in neurotypical and neurodivergent dynamics at all, really. But as a convenient placeholder label,
that often ends up being the case, isn't it? That these models are wrong to take as concrete, universal hard rules, but they actually provide a certain clarity used sparingly.
True. Yeah.
Categorization should not be taken as the God's absolute
Hardly,
truth, but they're actually very useful in a lot of circumstances.
For prediction models and pattern recognition, yeah, for sure. And you know, he was saying, wait, what was I saying before the pattern recognition part? Oh yeah, with the neurotypicals, he's like neurotypical. I think the thing is, it's like. The idea is to make good videos, to make them engaging, is you have to use a lot of those classical TV, movie editing principles. Like you have your A-roll, then your various B-roll. But at the same time, you have to do it in a relevant way and format and method. So the hard part is like, you can't look at a guy like Steven Spielberg and say, all right, now I want you to scroll Twitter or YouTube for 2 hours and I want you to clip your favorite emotive moments, like the parts where your favorite characters are angry or your favorite streamers are sad or your favorite actors are acting horny, whatever. Like you save all those clips. Like he's going to look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? You know? Whereas the modern YouTuber raking in like, you know, 6 figures a month is going to be like, yeah, this is how it's done. Imagine telling like fucking, I don't know, Ridley Scott, like make a thumbnail, like make a YouTube thumbnail for me, you know, like.
I feel like he would.
Of course, like he would figure it out, obviously.
James Cameron would not.
Because it's just like this. If you know the fundamental methods, then the digital methods, the electronic methods on top become easier.
Yeah.
And the problem is like people get in on the higher levels. They don't bother going deeper, lower level. They only go higher level, you know? Like if I was a musician that never learned how to play a clarinet or a piano or a guitar, and then I got into just DJing, I would not get as far with music as I did, as if that, you know, I compared to when I actually did go through all those things, and then I was faced with like DJing, and I was like, this is easy shit. The fuck are you guys doing? But then I realized like you can't look at it that way. It's not about that, because like crafting a vibe becomes a new skill set, you know. Since the music is handled, now you got to handle the vibe. I mean, it's interesting. I feel like you don't see yourself as a creative person, right?
No.
You see yourself more. Your Twitter account, for example, you see it as just an avatar for you. Not like really a channel for creative output.
As a hobby, because posting has always been a big hobby of mine.
Boasting?
Posting, I guess, goes along with it.
Well, are you willing to learn new tricks as an old dog?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think subtly, like clearly you know more about content creation now than you did before
That's
you did
true.
a podcast. Like, you know. You know what we do? Like, we record our audio, then our video, and also my method itself changed a lot. Like, over the, you know, as I learned more, as I realized, like, oh, we could do this way easier, you know. But now I can make whatever I want. You know, now I know how to make these videos. Now I know how to edit them finally. Like, if I asked you, like, write an essay about a topic you care about, and then you handed it to me, I could narrate it like in a really great voice, and then fucking edit in footage, splice in footage that would be funny and like relevant, you know. Could even make it cinematic, you know. But then again, like, I don't know, like, you said your most fundamental goal is creating a child as opposed to creating like art or
Maybe I should try because everyone always told me I should.
Why are you so what's
so
scaring you?
hesitant?
Yeah. Like, why are you so reluctant? I mean, clearly you spend a
Laziness, maybe.
Nah.
Maybe a fear of failure.
What are you failing at exactly?
Maybe a fear of sincerity as someone who's so irony poisoned. But I don't know if that's even true because I'm actually probably a very sincere person compared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm probably extremely sincere.
Yeah. So then embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to challenge you. I would like to. I would like to just hand you a topic. It's like, yo, give me a fucking, you know. Write it how you write your Twitters, just longer. Maybe it'll be so good that it's like I can't even narrate it. It has to be you. I'll sure as shit edit it though.
Intriguing.
I'm definitely posting it on the blog because we have a website, terroriskworks.com.
Very well.
Now I have AI slaves to build the website for me, manage it too if I wanted it to. If you could do this for me, then I wouldn't have to do it. Then I could work on other shit like merch and further branding.
Yeah.
Look, it would be nice if we didn't have to just work for people and people
That's
just
true.
People just gave us shekels just because they liked hearing us talk. I mean, the only reason why I think, like, one of the reasons why I'm so reluctant to promote is because I was back in the old days of the podcast. Like, we did a lot of degenerate shit. We said a lot of degenerate shit. So I want to give the brand some time to really solidify and crystallize. And I feel like we've done it. We've cocooned. The cocoon is breaking. Ready to sprout, wouldn't you say? We got our format.
Yeah, we do actually. Do something meaningful as a
Dude,
whole new year.
Dude, this format that flows so smoothly now, this took us fucking 3 to 4 years to create.
That's true.
We can't squander that.
That's true. That's a good point.
And on
If anything, every episode is a new beginning.
And on top of that, my streaming is only going to bolster the shit. Because, of course, like, I changed the YouTube channel title from Terrorisk Podcast to just Terrorisk. It's like we could expand that. We have access to Suno, for fuck's sake. You saw what we could do. Which after this episode ends, I'm sure we're gonna.
Terrorisk is a good name.
Mm-hmm. It could be a household name.
Yeah.
Every Gen Alpha's fucking bedroom should have a Terrorisk poster. We could be like.
Well, I don't know about every Gen Alpha. Every
what'd be
sensitive young man Gen Alpha.
What I really want is I want to attract the most degenerate like people, like young people who are so black pilled, and then they think we're black pilled, and then they start like
we groomed them into being
White-pilled.
into being life gem white pilled optimist maximing bloomers.
Yeah, gratitude grat maxing.
Grat maxing, yeah.
Grat maxing.
Yeah. Kamala's brat maneuver with Charlie XCX won't work, but grat will work.
Yeah, because it's easy.
Don't be a brat, be a grat.
It's more accessible, It benefits everyone. And the more people feel it, because I live it sincerely, I'm pretty sure, you do too. Especially, when we're together,
That's
so it's
true.
like, the more we feel it, the more we spread it. We make the world a better place that way. And we get to have a few good laughs, Like, we're not afraid to get a little play in the mud, It's just because I read your tweets and I'm like, this would be way better if it was like expanded upon in long form. And I do it sometimes. I don't want to. I didn't want to tell you, but yeah, I do it. I feed your post to language models, and I'm like, expand this in the same.
Oh, let me see one.
And they come out great.
Let me see one.
I could do it now. Like,
do it. You choose a tweet of mine, expand it in a large language
I'm just gonna
model.
choose the first one I fucking see. And I could even like set it to be like, all right, now make it more palatable. You know? Like,
Oh,
yeah, like to mainstream audiences and shit. It does it all. It does all of the shit you want it to do. The pansexual predator.
yeah.
Okay. So let's see.
Wait, screw it.
Will Stansel.
Not that one.
No, I'm gonna choose.
No, that one. Yeah, expand that.
All right. So this says, I'm always weirded out when I remember non-New Yorkers don't have bodegas. What do you mean you don't have a place to get a chopped cheese, a tall boy, anonymous gay sex with a dead-eyed Yemeni with cat packed under his lip, top of an unclean fryer and cat food at 2 a.m. All right. Now I'll choose Gemini for this. It's a simple endeavor. Okay. I mean, if I really wanted to go hard, I would feed like Notebook LM a podcast episode. Please read this tweet and expand it into an essay using the exact same writing style, voice, and persona. Did I say please? Yep.
Yeah.
I like to be polite to the robot. I'm not a clanker hater, unlike you fucking degenerates. Enter. I think you're gonna want to read this.
The sheer existential horror of the American interior hits me hardest when I realize that, for most people, convenience is a brightly lit CVS with a self-checkout that yells at you. It's a sterile, fluorescent purgatory. I generally don't understand how the rest of the country functions without the bodega, that 400-square-foot ecosystem of linoleum and destiny that anchors every block of the city.
Ooh.
What do you mean you don't have a place to get a chopped cheese, a tall boy, anonymous gay sex with a dead-eyed Yemeni with cat packed under his lip on top of an unclean fryer, and cat food at 2 a.m.? The holy geometry of the counter. In a real bodega, the floor-to-ceiling stack of Goya beans and off-brand laundry detergent creates a localized pocket of warped space-time. You walk in at 2:14 a.m. The air thick with the smell of sizzling beef and whatever chemical they use to mop the floors once a fiscal quarter. You aren't a customer. You're a participant in a ritual.
I hate that.
The guy behind the counter, let's call him Ahmed, though he's never told you his name in the 5 years you've lived on the block, knows your cardiovascular health better than your primary care physician.
Oh my God.
He watches you buy a bacon, egg, and cheese with the same detached ancient wisdom of a sphinx. The midnight Eucharist. The chopped cheese is more than a sandwich. It is a spiritual contract. It's the only thing standing between you and a hangover that could kill a Victorian child. And while the grill is scraping off layers of carbonized grease from the Bloomberg administration, you're browsing the selection of $4 wine coolers and imported tall boys like you're a sommelier tasting in the basement of hell. But it's the back of the house reality that separates the New Yorkers from the tourists. There's a specific grimy intimacy to the bodega that middle America will never grasp. It's the transactional nature of the city boiled down to its rawest elements. Sometimes you're there for a roll of bounty. Sometimes you're there because the flickering light in the back by the ATM offers a 5-minute window of anonymous sweaty desperation with a man who hasn't blinked since the 2014 World Cup. There's no judgment on the unclean fryer. There is only the cat-induced stare of a man who has seen every iteration of human depravity walk through the sliding glass doors and yet still remembers to remind you that a fancy feast is 2 for 1 tonight. The survivalist sanctuary. To live anywhere else is to live in a desert of store hours and corporate policies. Imagine needing a single AA battery, a loose cigarette, and a heavy-duty trash bag at 3:45 a.m. and having nowhere to go but a suburban gas station where the clerk sits behind 3 inches of bulletproof plexiglass and looks at you like a threat. In the bodega, we are all equal under the watchfly of the shop cat sleeping in the bread delivery. The bodega cat. We are all just looking for a little grease, a little vice, and a tin of Friskies to keep the apartment quiet. If you don't have a place where you can find God and a lukewarm Modelo in the same aisle, are you even really alive?
Yo, dude.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Carmen, if you reposted this as your own tweet, I would not tell anyone. I think
just send it to me and I'll touch it up a little bit.
I think you have every right to, because this is literally you. This is
Send it to me and I'll top it up. I'll touch it up a bit. Just send it as a.
Dude, I might even make a video out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I think it's a waste not to, because that's like, it's like your voice, you know? It's
I should just go to a reading and read this.
Dude, this is. And then you could tell people, it's like, you could choose to tell people if it's AI or not.
Oh, yeah, I would, yeah.
Yeah, you could be like, dude, honestly, like, I had a tweet. And we could do this with all your tweets.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, that's a great idea, actually.
And dude, every single one of these is a whole video.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I could edit. Like, what I could do is I could go into a bodega. I could literally just to get the footage of me grabbing a tall boy, me like getting these. Cat, you know, it's like a close up of Ahmed on the fucking counter. You know, like, dude, this is good shit. See what I mean? Like,
I want to touch this up or edit it and see. I think I can maintain the same voice because it's my voice.
It is your voice. You just gotta be like
expansion. Yeah.
This is good shit, man. See, this is what I'm saying. This is why, like, I'm optimistic about the future of Terrorisk. Like, there's a lot of fucking hijinks we could do. I'm excited. I'm stoked. And I can't. Do you have a verified account? Oh shit, you do have a verified account.
Yeah.
You got to post this whole thing. Maybe reply to your tweet, like the original tweet about the bodega with this essay.
Yeah, you're right.
But punch it up, because I think
I'm gonna punch it up.
Because
I
I think tweeters can know when something's AI generated now.
Yes, definitely.
Especially
100%.
like remove the line where it's like, this isn't a blank blah 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 blah. This is actually a blah 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 blah. Like, that shit is like the worst, you know. But yo, once you complete it, fucking give it back, and I'll make a video out of it. You got to narrate it.
You're right. I will.
And when you narrate it,
actually, really, I will.
When you narrate it, you got to say it slow. I'll add a rainy effect. I'll even add like the sound effects of the door opening. Like, instead of a sliding doors, we could be more realistic, like the jingly doors, like, you know, like a regular door with the bells hanging. This is actually, I think this is our first video, honestly. Like,
this is our first actual video. Yeah. This is where the adventure begins. Yeah. Everything else is just a prologue, a training montage. We're going to
talk about why. All right, the title of the video is going to be like, why it sucks you don't live near a bodega. Yeah, this is good. This is good shit. See, this is what I mean. Like, and I've done this to your tweets before, and I was like, this is good shit. You know?
Interesting.
So I'm glad I got to finally show you. You know, you had to see this. So now you could do it. And this is all free. This is all like, these are all free tools. It's just the source material. Like, if that's good, then even the most basic language models can do a lot with it, you know? Like, if the code is good, if the concept is good. I'm going to do this to your tweets more often now. I'm going to see a tweet. I'm going to be like, God, I wish Carmen would expand on this. Oh, wait. Yeah. Like, in fact, what if I trained an entire like notebook just on your tweets of like of Notebook LM, and then it just becomes like your ghostwriter. You're just like, oh, Chris, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tweet next. Like, don't worry, I got you, fam. And I pull up your like cyborg homunculi, and I'm like, quick, say something Carmen would say. And he's like, the gas station dick pill, such a mysterious concoction, like, or such a ominous concoction.
Yeah, they give you diarrhea and stuff and heart palpitations apparently. And
you're already writing it, dude. You are creative. You just need to. But this is basically like Palantir. You know, like just like the Palantir ball. It's like, I'm in control now, but you're really not. Like,
no, yeah.
But you are empowered though, and greatly. I mean, first of all, you have a verified account. Like, you can't waste it on these fucking short character posts.
Right.
If you have a short character post, use a tool to fucking expand it and then punch it up. And then eventually you do this long enough, you won't even need the fucking language model. You're just eventually going to get in you're going to get so used to seeing yourself writing in long form.
That's true.
I never thought I would ever be a type of person to shill AI, but I was never against AI. Have you ever known me to be like, oh, fuck
No.
No, because I was just waiting. I was just waiting till the shit got like right, you know, and now it's right. We never needed it to make us into anything. We never needed it to fucking we never needed it to give us to make shit for us. Like, we never needed a fucking robot in the kitchen to make us an apple pie. No, what I need is I need a robot to chop the apples while I preheat the oven.
Yeah.
I need a robot to fucking make the sauce while I fucking lay the breading down, you know? That's what I need. I don't need the fucking robot to bake me the whole fucking pizza or to fucking make the whole dish. We could work together. We could do it together. Because chances are, if I leave the robot to do all of it, it's going to fuck it up. So let's just do it together. The people that complain about it are the ones who aren't technically skilled enough. They're the ones who don't see they're the ones who don't know how to actually bake an apple pie. They're the ones who don't know how to actually make meatloaf. They're the ones who don't know how to actually hand roll sashimi, or I shouldn't say sashimi, I say nigiri or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones who don't know how the actual technicals work. Meanwhile, you see the people who are actually competent in the technical elements of their crafts, and they're not even talking about AI. Why? Because they're too busy fucking using it. They don't use it to make the whole fucking thing. They're like looking at every project. They're like, you're telling me I don't have to EQ all these projects myself? Okay. Like, you're telling me I don't have to I don't have to play all these infinite chord progressions with this plugin myself, and I could just program MIDI, multiple MIDI files to do it for every plugin? Great. You know, yeah. Are you fucking stupid? You think I'm stupid? No. You'd have to be stupid not to do it. I feel bad for the people who are going to be unable to adapt. It's another learning curve. It's all right. Look at it this way.
It's interesting to see who's going to be an early adopter and who isn't. It's actually there's a political divide that's very tedious mentioned, but yeah, conservatives, Republicans are way more into it than libs are. There's also a lot of dumber people are actually way into it.
Look at it this way. Look at
people who aren't too dumb. People who are 90 IQ are very into it.
Look at it this way. Look at the music, right? People originally who were able to play music didn't have the luxury of electronics, didn't have the luxury of I'm just speaking in terms of Western classical music, the genre. They didn't have advanced recording technology like we do. They didn't have sampling technology. They didn't have generative technology. So what do? They played it. You know, they actually had to get together in huge ensembles to play it to get the full effect.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Then electronic instruments came out. The amplifier came out. The microphone came out. The PA system came out. And suddenly you had entire ensembles turning into just small, compact bands. Units,
yeah.
Right? Of 5 people, of 5 musicians, right? But then what happened? Then it turned into, now these instruments become less like instruments and more just devices that play noises. Suddenly one person could become the band, right?
Yes.
Now you don't even need the person to be the band or the music. The person doesn't even have to do any work. The person could just create bands, especially for consuming music, not even live anymore. And if you did consume it live, great. You know, at least I'm skilled enough at, say, DJing, where I could literally play all my fucking AI generated music in a DJ set, and that automatically adds physical novelty, does it not?
Yes, it does. It does.
What difference is it me DJing, being a good DJ, DJing other fuckheads' music compared to DJing an AI model's music, which is, better and more what I want it to be, I think DJs might make a huge resurgence. Like a dead cat bounce. First they were dying and then boom, they bounce off the AI bubble, but they'll die again.
Yeah, that's a dead count bounce actually seems like a perfect description of DJs. You're right. I think that's very accurate. There's a brief recovery before it's over
because they realize, I don't need producers anymore. I'm just gonna make. But then what's gonna happen is
DJ. Oh, that's very interesting actually. DJ as an individual, particularly at risk, at AI risk.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think that's true.
It's true for a lot of art forms, a lot of media forms.
Yeah.
But DJing especially, yeah, you're right. It's
because they're already doing it. It's like a lot of the white collar writing jobs, copywriting jobs. Already, what they were writing was basically AI generated.
Exactly.
When you
What's
look at
the
the stuff they
difference?
did, when I said before,
all
at
I
the
did was
beginning of the
read
episode was
NBC's
that-
article, ABC article, CNN article, and I could synthesize that into my own like Vice article or my own fucking
Yeah,
Huffington Post article.
that era of internet and
It was pretty good,
Story.
actually. It was pretty slick.
It
Like the
was.
idea of synthesize, like as soon as a story released, within 6 minutes, the skilled person in your fucking Vice like writing squad was able to like synthesize it into a story with the Vice bent, you know. And suddenly, the Vice bent opened up more doors than the traditional legacy media, bents. Anyway, what were you saying?
They already were writing with algorithms,
Yes.
crude algorithms, because like Mike.com, for instance, would have writer's guides, and they very overtly said,
Follow the formatting.
follow the format, lead with an emotion, all that.
YouTube is no different.
Yes.
I can't wait to get the pictures of the emotes of you. Like, all right, now do one of you sad, do one of you happy. You got to do it to me too. You got to take all the pictures of me. So what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do is I'm gonna cut out our profiles for each one. I'm gonna save them in a file. So every time I post it, whatever the biggest topic is, I'm gonna be like, is Azalea Banks race swapping to Asian or something? And then it's like you'll see like my face like looking like surprised and your face looking sad, like you know. I figured out the fucking or I learned the formula, I should say.
Yeah.
It's kind of tacky and gross that it works this way, but I'm game. Like I said, I'll wear Pumas on stage if you give me a fucking $1 million. I don't give a fuck. Certain things I won't do though. I won't go to the Diddy parties.
Yeah.
I won't go to that one creepy streamer who's like 46 years old but happens to hang out with like 18 and 19-year-old titty streamers. Like I'm not gonna do that shit. What I will do though is I will spend my money in very irresponsible ways. Probably in like better content equipment. I will buy like all the crazy fucked up drone cameras. I'll get like cars to blow up. I'll do all that shit. That I'm willing to do because to me that's like it's like I get to finally live my fantasy. I realize I've always wanted to be a movie producer. I've always wanted not just a movie producer now, just a producer, like producer of video games, producer of music, producer. I like being the producer role because not just like a executive producer where I just throw money at a thing. No, the producer as in like where I know enough about every craft that goes into this production where it's like I know who I need, you know, I know what I need. But now it's like the people have been replaced by robot slaves, so it's like great. Too many people use it the wrong way. They're relying on one robot slave when you're supposed to use like all of them in conjunction together. That means they're not good leaders. Interesting to think about, huh? Because we don't just have access to ChatGPT anymore. A lot of people talk about AI and they only say ChatGPT. They don't see like VS Code, which is a coding platform, has its own fucking AI model. They don't see that Google has its own AI model. They don't see that fucking OpenAI has its own AI model. Twitter has its own AI. You could use all of it. Facebook has its own AI model. You can use them all in conjunction with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't want to gloss over the subject because this is essential for our survival as especially elder millennials. You know, we have to adapt, and that's what we're good at. Millennials were born in an age of adaptation, so therefore we should have no problems. That should be what defines us as a generation, is the ability to adapt. What do you think? Think about being a millennial for a second. We were forced to adapt through like the most breakneck changes, and we lived through it compared to older generations. and
Huge
younger
information changes due to the internet. Some economic ones, but the internet is really the big
Cultural
one.
changes?
Cultural. Everything's downstream of the internet.
Sociopolitical,
economic, socio-political, cultural. All those are downstream of the mainstream.
And I
of
think the
internet.
millennials that have not been broken by it in the past 10, 20 years are the ones that are worthy to rule culture.
Yeah.
At least I agree with it because yes, we are going through hell right now. We are going through like some psychotic fucking like psyoping and like psychotic like deconstruction of our psyches and all that. Yeah, we are. But if you can manage this, it's better I mean, to me, this is better than World War II, World War I. I'd rather live through this shit.
Oh, vastly, yeah.
But I understand some
Not
people
funner.
can't. I understand some people can't. I understand.
It's very psychological. Even if it's materially easy, it's very psychological.
We're literally living
disorienting.
through psychological meta World War III.
Yeah.
Luckily, I just happen to be like a good soldier in that battle.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't know it because I never thought that kind of fighting was relevant. But now we're starting to realize, oh, this is what's relevant now. You know, it's the soul. We dealt with the body. We dealt with the mind. Now we're dealing with the soul because we kicked that can down the road too long as a fucking species. Or maybe we forgot it. We chopped it off and now it's time to like reel it back. Industrialization certainly did that.
Yeah. Before the agricultural revolution and then industrialization.
It removed the necessary scarcity that forges the soul.
Yeah, it removed two huge shocks. Those were the two big shocks in human history.
And now, artistically, look where it led us to now, where we have like, I mean, do you think it's really getting to a point where it, you know, by the time you and I are like old ass wrinkly men, like about to die, people are gonna forget that like some people are on this world are gonna forget that like Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman were just fictional tales. Some people are gonna believe that like maybe they exist in an alternate world, and by all intents and purposes, maybe they would be right by then. You know.
Maybe after an apocalypse. I think it's more likely that they'll have the significance of Achilles, Hercules, Robin Hood. That people will know they're fictional characters, but they'll be very well known.
What I want to preserve from if our civilization ends,
Yeah.
I want to preserve if we could only preserve one idea,
Yeah.
it's the idea of archetypes.
Yeah, that would just naturally emerge.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I would want that to be the one thing. Anyway, you want to transition into the fourth part?
Yeah.
All right. We're back.
We're back.
By the way, if I give you access to the Twitter account for Terrorisk, would you post in it?
I'm already focused on my actual Twitter account, but I could try having things taken aside for it.
Don't worry about it. You know what? Let's make a deal. All
Yeah.
right. When we get to 200 subscribers, you have to drop Terrorisk on your Twitter.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, 200 subscribers. That's the goal.
That sounds great, yeah.
Yeah, it's good for me. It's a good motivator for me because I'm
Yeah.
gonna really try going for it. And they're gonna be like, "All right, do it." And then you're gonna be like, "All right, if you want to see what I sound like and what my thoughts are in a more personal, one-on-one." Because like I understand your reluctance. If I had your Twitter handle and like I did this Terrorist podcast, I would also feel very reluctant to. Yeah, I get it, but it's like by 200 subscribers, that's a little something, you know.
That is, you're right.
But I think by the time we get to 200, it'll already be like upping, you know, because that's like I didn't even think we would break 100. Like I didn't even think Terrorisk would get like 10, you know. But then it's
What
like
are you at?
160.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like I didn't expect to break 10. Once I broke 10, I was like, let's see if we could do 50. I got 50. And it's like, all right, let's see if we could do more and more. And I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it going.
And I also don't want to be rude or inconsiderate. There is part of me which is I don't want strong plausible deniability, but mild plausible deniability between my real job and this.
Yeah, but I think by the time it matters, you probably won't need... Actually, you know what? That's getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Yeah.
And I'm sorry. It's like I'm fine with an internet presence where it's very easy to connect me. But if I was called into an interview and it's like, this is your Twitter, I know it is.
You want to
I'm
be like Howling Mutant.
What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about? I never said that. Did I say? I don't know where. Yeah, this is the podcast I do with my friend. I didn't say this was my Twitter. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a strong one. Like something that would make me basically it just has to be possible that can be hired at a local bartender level.
So in the CIA level, right?
Right.
Or like when the intelligence agencies, like let's say you're a handler or a case officer, right? You tell your boss, it's like, I have to break a few laws, but this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And your boss says, the director, the director, deputy director, they say, why? You as the case officer have a duty to say, do you really want to know?
Yeah.
And what do you think your boss is going to tell you?
Yes, I don't know.
No, they don't want to know.
Right.
So basically, it's a good strategy. Yeah, it's good to give at least some. It's not like the plausible deniability.
I'm not trying to actually make it
It's
impossible.
not for. It's not
to find.
for you. It's for them.
Yes.
It's for the people.
Yes, you're right.
It's not for you because like you don't give a shit. It's for the people. Like even if they knew like what you posted on Twitter, but if there was no way for the public to be able to, they would, and you were a good worker and you were more valuable, they would hire.
Yeah,
that's the whole game.
And also, I'm not on the level of government office
Because
I just want to be a thing like, oh, someone complained about this. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
But the podcasting though,
It does have my face and be on my voice, my face, my name, all
I
that.
just want to say in the podcasting, you're the one that says those nigger words. You're the one that says those
That's
words.
true.
You're the one that says it like.
Oh, I know I am. I know I am. I know. I'm
You're
not
the one
denying
that
that.
says it. I don't. I mean, I just did, but I was saying it pretty much quoting you. But I'm basically.
No, I know.
I'm saying you're the one that says those words. This
Yeah,
is
that's
why.
true.
This is also why every time I post a podcast episode, it has to be like explicit. You know, like,
Yeah.
I can never make it just non-explicit because of.
me, it's always
But
explicit.
it's also me too. you
Aren't
know?
we cursing though the whole time? So does that make
Nah,
that?
I don't think it's the same.
Oh, they mean
On Twitch,
mean
it's
actual.
on
slurs.
Twitch is different.
Yeah.
On Twitch, you could really get hammered down, and you could really fuck with algorithms if you get caught. But I think, but you don't have to worry about it because for the Twitch, I don't mind having the streaming heat on me. I don't want to put that on anyone else. I think that's something that I have to like.
Yeah.
Those are fires I have to dive into by myself for the
Yeah.
sake of the podcast brand. It's not even a podcast anymore. Let's call it what it is. It's a media brand. You know.
Yeah.
Especially if we're gonna get into it, and I do plan on making videos because like especially with like this like material with the essays, all we needed was your voice and your perspective, and now that we got it, now I can just pretty much like squeeze out content from your robot homunculi. You know, it's like, all right, now using this voice to like say something about Israel, and it's gonna give me some like imagine Israel as a it's just giant pit of tar where 1,000 men are drowning at once.
Yeah.
You know, it's like shit like that. You know. Damn, I that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm exposed to too much karma.
Imagine Israel as a giant pit of gold, of molten gold, in which 1,000 rabbis are drowning at once.
That's pretty epic. Gasping for air as the skin melts off of their bones, as the flesh melts off of their bones.
Instead of being burned, they're being deep fried this time.
Man. This is good. See, you do have a voice. You should recognize that by now. Listen, if the robot can see it. The only thing I hate when it does is when it says, "This isn't a rebirth. This is a rejuvenate." You know, like I hate it when it's like this. Is
Yeah, it has that very particular tone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff though. And you have a fucking verified account. You have to use that shit.
You're right. You're right about the verified account. What I like to do, and I will do this, I always say this, I'll punch this up. I want to try to read it live, then post it online.
Yeah, read it to people. See what they think before you post it too. Like,
Yeah.
You know, don't read it to Val. I think Val would appreciate this when it's posted on Twitter first. She's gonna be like, "You wrote this N-word?" Yeah, it's funny how she's the black girl and you're the white boy, but she calls you like the N-word all the time.
That's true. Well, she's just LARPing is more ghetto than she is. Well, maybe not LARPing, but
You're the one preventing her from becoming her ghetto self.
no, not really. It was her mom, like her mom doing the African immigrant parent thing about not acting like a black American. Her mom, unsurprisingly, her mom being relentlessly immigrant parents saying, "Don't be like these Shaniquas."
That's like
getting
Korean
teen
parents
pregnant."
saying to their kids, "Don't act like these Chinese people."
Yeah, literally, she unsurprisingly had exactly that same experience.
Yeah.
And she actually has a bunch of bougie knowledge and taste from her mom.
Yeah, understandable. That's relatable, actually.
Yeah, it is very similar. And
I mean, compared to me and her, like we're like on the same scale in the dating rankings, like Asian male and black woman.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yes.
you're like both of us.
Yeah.
You're-
Steve Saylor has a whole article about this. His Love Colorblind from like 2010. Maybe it was actually earlier, like 2005. Or...
Yeah. But I don't mind it. Like I like being a surprise. You know, like,
Yeah.
I like that. I don't, because honestly, like I don't think I would enjoy life as like a looks max or trad white boy. You know, like I don't think it's a nice life.
That's a weirdly gay, but I don't think the guys are actually gay for the most part. They're acting like gay men, but it's a lot worse because they're
ugly.
they're ostensibly attracted to women.
No, they're ugly on the inside. I mean,
Yeah, they're ostensibly attracted to women, but more than that, they're attracted to the pain and the drama of being an incel. The dream of being a good-looking incel is what they're going for.
so that they could, like, now that I finally got what I wanted, you just validated every criticism I had against women by just like, you know, like fiendishly going after me for my looks and my stats.
Yeah, it's
Because
like
you're
a
just
kind of
you're just
religious or
you're just
ideological.
You're just the same bitch you would have acted like if I was ugly, but now you don't act like that because I'm hot. Yeah, I think like what happens.
That's probably the fantasy they have. It's very
is the
like
fantasy. That is
it's
the
kind of
fantasy.
I bet it has a similar mindset to a suicide bomber.
Yeah, 100%. I want to be the martyr. I want to be the guy who suffered and toiled to get hot just so he could prove to the world how stupid and fucking idiotic these bitches
Yeah,
are.
a bunch of incels would have been far better off in a monastery than what they're doing. Like instead of what they're fixated
I
on
have the
is
solution.
what?
The solution is the problem is when you try to be hot, you end up ugly.
Yeah.
I think you naturally become hot when you willingly give yourself to a physical activity you actually enjoy. You know?
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to be hot and you go to the gym, you're like, I gotta push myself, otherwise I won't be hot. And you injure yourself and you can't go back to the gym, you fucking idiot. Whereas if you actually enjoy going to the gym as a hobby, you're gonna be like, I can't push myself too hard today, otherwise I can't come back tomorrow and the next day because I love it that much. A lot of these people just got to where, you know, their fitness goals out of hatred and spite. Like that's not a good place to work out of, you know? It's powerful, but it's not good. You end up running over some fucking psycho on Instagram, you know?
That dynamic is less with him being a looks maxer and far more with him
Status.
being an internet persona.
No, you get looks maxing so that you can gain status, and the whole persona is a part of the status game.
The whole having a stalker live streaming himself, like harassing you in your automobile, is like an internet streamer performance.
No. He was scared because the guy pulled out a gun on him.
Yeah, well, yeah, guy's really nuts.
That's why
yeah.
when he ran him over, she was like, "Did you kill?" And he was like, "I hope so,"
Yeah.
because he was scared. He was.
This is like the guy showing up to Nick Fuentes. Well, Nick Fuentes' neighbor with a crossbow.
Put it this
pistol.
way: if I had a gun on me,
Yeah.
and someone flashed a gun, I would whip my gun out and shoot them in the head right
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and in America, you can.
You
Thank
have
God.
to.
Yeah.
Because what else are you supposed to do?
Because you don't know what they're capable of.
Especially if they know you're armed. You don't know if they know you're armed or not. You literally have, what, like a couple seconds to react? And God forbid you don't have a gun and someone flashes a gun on you. You're like, this is not a good place to be. Scary thought.
Yes,
but I don't.
it is.
But I don't mind it, honestly. Like if we live in a world full of guns, I'm pretty sure. If like New York is different. Look, I get it. New York.
Yeah.
If everyone in New York was allowed to buy a gun.
Yeah, there's certain places where gun control should exist, and this is one of them.
Yeah. Ironically, though, LA does not have the same gun control.
Yes. Out west.
If I had a gun, I'll get multiple guns. I'll get a long rifle. I'll get an AR platform. I'll get a shotgun.
That's a lot of people.
I would get I would also get a few handguns. I wouldn't get a Colt 45. I thought I wanted one, but then I realized it's fucking stupid. I would just get a regular 9mm Glock. And then I would get the fun 9mm. I would get like a SIG. You know, I'd be like, oh, look at the rotating barrel design. You know, I'd be gay like that. And I would also get a revolver. You know, something nice, something simple. Maybe a 38.
Be like an old-fashioned cop. Wear some short sleeve blue shirt while you pull out your snub nose revolver.
Nah, not snub nose. I don't like snub nose. I like just like the standard size barrel. You know, it's like service pistol. As if those private eye detectives pulled out a pistol that they kept since their old days in the force. You know, they were a beat cop moving on to detective, and they have that one case that just
A bunch of those characters or individuals are people that were in one of the world wars. But yes.
they were in one of the world wars. That makes a lot of sense. Holy fucking shit!
Oh, you never thought about that? Yeah, that, like
just
a lot of
said-
those
yeah.
characters are about the fact that they're
you're
war
right.
veterans.
The cops, the detectives, the criminals, they were all veterans pretty much.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. If I made a modern retelling of a fucking like detective story like that took place in the 20th century, it would definitely be World War One. It would center around World War One veterans. It would be the detective who was a former German. It would be the killer who was on the Western Allied forces, and the police force would be French because they're useless. So
Actually, the French police are very serious.
I like the idea of a 20th century noir detective from Germany.
Yeah. It feels like a good Cold War era thing.
Cold War era? I was thinking more like,
Interwar?
actually, you know what? Maybe this would be better 19th century. 19th century German noir, like a detective like Sherlock Holmes shit, but German. Like a German
No,
Sherlock
I think it
Holmes.
actually works really well in the interwar period.
Yeah?
In between World War One and Two.
That would be good. I mean, I really like Sherlock Holmes leading up to World War One. Where Moriarty was like, "You think you can stop this? Like, you think you couldn't stop me from trying to industrialize war on a mass scale? But trust me, it's coming." I mean, we talked about this before. We talked about this before on the podcast, but I really like the RDJ.
Guy Ritchie, Robert Downey Jr.,
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
I really like the memes, the GIFs, or whatever, the meme clips where it's like every neurodivergent guy who's about to get into a fight who thinks like how they think it's gonna go down, and he's like,
Yeah.
you see the time slip, and it's like, all right, you fracture the jaw, get the ribs, and then puncture the liver or whatever. But it never goes down like that.
Many ways, the most accurate depiction, actually, from the stories.
What do you mean?
It's pretty less so in some ways, but all the boxing and the like are actually in the original stories.
What was realistic is the idea that you know exactly what you're gonna do to the motherfucker before you do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're never going to be able to do it. Like, how you're going to be able to pull it off if you don't know what you're going to do to him. You know exactly what you're going to do to that guy. To the point where it's like the only thing that goes wrong is you do it and he's still standing. That's the only thing that goes wrong. You know, like, that's who usually wins a fight.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, if I was in like a medieval, like, any kind of feudal battle in any culture, like, if I was in the front lines, like, marching in the mud, like, about to die, and I see my first kid, like maybe like 14, 15 approaching me, all I have to do to know if I'm gonna win is I'll raise my weapon, and if the person like flinches or reacts defensively, that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
That's really how battles go down like that. Like in melee battles,
Melee combat, yeah.
the minute like with weapons, the minute like you make a move, and whoever flinches first, the psychic battle is over. And if you
Yeah.
lost the psychic battle, there's like an 80% chance you're gonna lose the actual battle.
That's much attested to, yeah.
Because it only takes one hit.
Yeah.
It only takes one hit to fucking die. Maybe not even on a vital spot. Like it could be on a hand or a foot. Like, and you die of infection days later. Like you're done.
Yes.
Or you lose a pinky and you can't swing your sword. You know
Yeah.
that shit happens all the fucking time. Shit now. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Still bartending. New place I'm living at, more established. I don't know what I'm going to be doing socially.
In 5 years?
I'll be 40.
In 5 years, I see you running your own joint.
Yeah, thanks. That seems reasonable. I probably will have to. I think, switch to management. I think I'll have to almost. I don't even have to. I think it will just be something I was avoiding doing for a long time. That is a natural fit.
If the streaming makes a lot of money, I promise you I'll put money into opening up a joint called Terrorisk that you can do whatever you want with. It just I want to see that in a 3D sign, neon, like a lit up sign, those colors, and people could come to it, and you could just be in charge of the whole operation. and we'll use it to launder money for drug card. No, I'm kidding. But if we do this in New York City, undoubtedly we're gonna get some shady people coming up to us. They could be Italians, Jews, Latinos, Somalians. Like, you never know. All types come up. It's like, yo, we notice you got a lot of like happy money going through. So what if we make a deal? We can make a lot. We can make it worth your while. Do we do deals with these people yet?
No.
Why?
I don't want to get immersed in that.
Why?
My dad told me not to as a boy.
Why? Did he tell you why?
Risk involved in it, the
True.
morality of it, the skeeziness of the types of people you end up interacting with. Like, it's one thing to meet these people in a different bar, but to have them in your lives routinely
No,
is
I
very
think the
different.
first answer was the best, the risk.
The rest of the debate's fine,
Because
yeah.
like if one thing messes up, it's not like they'll call the cops on you. They're not gonna
You just want, filing bankruptcy is not a big deal.
You know what they're gonna do to you?
Yeah.
If you fuck them up, if you fuck up and they take a hit, they're not gonna like say like, oh, we're gonna audit you, we're gonna send you an invoice, we're gonna get my lawyers, we'll call. No, they're gonna fucking chop your dick off. They're gonna throw it in front of your family. They're gonna kill your daughter in front of you after raping her. They'll do all sorts of fucked up shit. The most heinous thing you could think of, these people will do, because that's the root of their power. They have the monopoly on violence.
Yeah. Well, but you also have to
so
say,
do the police, so do the army, but that's the whole.
Yeah.
Which tells you something about power. Like, whoever has the biggest monopoly on violence pretty much has the most power. Why? Because we're mortals. Because we're fallible beings. Because we're stuck in these meat bodies that will die eventually. Time. And that's why monopoly on violence is a very popular, powerful thing. But even that's losing its power, grip, because now people are inflicting violence on themselves. What use is a government that threatens violence on its people when the people are trying to kill themselves, Kind of
well, the people who aren't threatening violence themselves, perhaps, but
I mean, even in the 90s and the aughts, the people who here, you could have mine. You got that.
what? No, you have it.
I mean, even the people in fucking, let's split it. Yeah, I feel like Jesus doing shit like this. My blood, as in your blood. Damn, you just down that shit. I think you're gonna sip it gingerly. No, you a real N-word like that.
That's true.
Like Nick Fuentes. You a real Nick Fuentes. Maybe that's what, instead of saying the N-word, I should say, what's up, my Nick Fuentes?
Ooh, my Fuentes.
Fuentes.
That's a nice substitution. A nice euphemism.
I like Ninja. Ninja is always going to be
Ninja's good, yeah.
Yeah, because ninjas are always like dark.
Yeah. Move stealthily, though. Many of the real life ninjas don't move stealthily, but yes.
I see you've noticed that I get this red a lot. This particular brand of red. I won't lie. The fact that they tie that little the vineyard twig on every bottle really sells me. It really talks to me. And plus, I drink the bottle and it's like it's always good. And I like that it's corked because they're white wine. That brand white wine, they don't do that. What is it called? Hold up the bottle for the camera.
Cantina Zaccanini. Fuck.
Zuccanini or Zaccanini?
Montepulciano di Ambrugio.
Cantina Zuccanini? Let's see if it corrects it. Since when? 1870 what? Zuccagnini. Cantina Zuccagnini. I don't know. Apparently they're pretty old school. Anyway, for all you watching and listening, this is the wine we drink. Zaccagnini, Cantina Zaccagnini. Is that how it's spelled?
Yeah, Montepulciano di Ambrugio.
That's it, the first one, as we said.
Down, let me see that one. It's that one. Yep.
Oh, this is it.
No, it's good.
Yeah. It's not bad. Honestly, I like it. I like it a lot. And what's interesting about it, it's like it's one of those red wines that stains my teeth. And it's like I tried other bottles of red. They don't always do that. Yeah, who are these people? Imagine if they're like Chinese, like a Chinese vineyard. They just
I feel like wine is something the Chinese don't get into. Well, at least not growing themselves. Maybe they do in drinking.
You got to be a certain point from the equator, right, to be able to grow the best grapes. Which only leaves you like what, like Greece, Spain,
Italy, California, Argentina.
And because of that, because of where they're placed in relatively to the equator, like celestial events
can happen in certain places. Like your comment here, look up what's the best wine country in China. What's the best wine areas in China?
What is the best wine country in China?
Yeah.
The best and most prominent wine region in China is Ningxia, often called China's Bordeaux of China. Ooh. Especially the area around the Helen Mountains, known for premium Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot with distinctive terroir. I don't know what that means. Terroir.
You should know it as a wine drinker.
Though Yunnan and Xinjiang are also significant with
Xinjiang?
Ningxia leading in quality and international recognition. So we got to look up Ningxia wine. That's apparently the
that's what we should get.
Yeah, Ningxia wine. That's why we're investigating. We're trying to find the best wine. So Ningxia wine. Decanters, 12 wines to try. Let's see how much a bottle costs.
Wine produce
$32. That's actually not bad. 44. Yeah,
I'm sure it's probably overinflated, but it would be worth trying just out of the interest.
I mean, I'm sure they make tons of it though, honestly.
Yeah. It's probably hard to find. This probably is still something hard to find in America. It probably is feeding the Chinese wine market. There's probably a lot of Chinese single child millennial girl bosses who drink this every night.
I bet it tastes like that. You know, like tastes like what we're drinking now. It's like,
yeah, it probably tastes exactly like it, but it'd be interesting to try what Chinese wine is like.
Yeah, wine. Wine is an interesting thing.
Ningxia?
The greatest wine country of China.
You know, here's an interesting NPR voice thing. We were talking about this before, but like Spanish is not a tonal language. It's actually relatively fine to use like an American accent if you're getting the pronunciation right.
It's phonetic.
Yeah, it's phonetic. Whereas like Chinese actually is a tonal language. If anything, saying Caracas isn't as big of a deal as saying
Beijing.
Yeah.
Shanghai.
Yeah. Like, if anything, when you're reading the name of Chinese locations, and I don't know if NPR does this, but you really should, if anything, do the over pronunciation on Chinese names, not Spanish ones. Instead of Chile, just say Chile. But when you're saying Qingdao, yeah, you should do that for Chinese words, but not
like if you're saying in American English, it's like, you know, when I'm in China, me and my boys like to crack open a cold Qingdao.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. That makes a lot more sense than doing it for Spanish.
Yeah, it does. Whereas, you know, as an American, if you say like, we like to open up a nice cold bottle of Tsingtao, you know, it sounds stupid. Whereas you got to be like, we like to open up a nice cold bottle of Tsingtao.
Yeah,
that's why I like when what's his name, fucking John Cena speaks Chinese.
Yeah,
he's like, you can't see me. He does that.
Yeah.
Proper.
I can tell he's pausing and looking for vocabulary. I bet his tones are off, but his vocabulary is good. That would be my guess.
Yeah, it's like saying English, like, oh yeah, and how do you say the canned fish? You know, like that's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very good, very correct. I suspect.
He ate the, how do you say, canned fish? It's kind of, I still sort of speak Korean like that. I gotta like polish it up. But the problem is Korean is so contemporary now because, you know, it functions a lot like English. So like with modern Korean K-dramas and movies, it creates a lot of slang and culture and music. Like,
This is the case with every language in the world is absorbing a ton of loan words from English.
yeah.
Even like French, which is notoriously militant about avoiding it, where when they adopt an English word, they make sure to do the French version of it. Even they are having trouble staving it off.
True. It's the lingua franca.
Yeah. Lingua Angla.
I mean, the thing about, say, English as we know it, it's just you can't beat that lexicon.
No.
Like, it's not held by Latin or Greek. It's both. And Germanic.
And I remember arguing with some Arabs about the vocabulary in Arabic versus English. I was like, you guys are retarded. English 100% has way more.
It's superior. Also for science, you know, like scientific terms, like, yeah, it's very useful to be able to switch between like Greek and Latin root terminology. Also, I never underestimate like the power of like linguistics and words. I think it even says it in the Bible. Like at first there was the word.
Yeah.
But I think more fundamentally than words might be shapes, which is very platonic.
And rotating them.
Yeah.
Which is why you have the word self versus shape rotator dichotomy. Dyad.
I know there's this one girl, Anna KW, who's convinced that right now we Christianity is infested with Christian Platonists, and she's saying eventually they're gonna get wiped out and fully converted to true Christians.
Have you met her?
No,
She's all right.
is she mid-looking?
More than, but yes.
I think I've seen her before. Then yeah,
I've hung out with her a number of times, but yes.
is she fuckable? Or is she just too annoying? Like she'll make like annoying sounds.
Nikki's the most vastly most attractive of that whole failed Hegelian Negro bit.
It's not a bit, okay? It's a journey. Stop saying bit. It's like it's a journey. They're going with this.
That
journey.
period of time of that, Nikki is the most attractive.
Actually, you know what? I would prefer you say bit than say like, oh, that was her era. You know, like, oh no, don't do that. Like, oh no. Please don't call it your era. I like arc. Their villain arc or their hero arc. Redemption arc is the best one. It's the most satisfying to witness. That's what people want. They want redemption arcs. Okay, so let's play the metagame. We've established that everyone has to be a Renaissance man now. You know, there's really no way around it. You can't just specialize in shit because like there's literally software that specializes in shit better than you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that being said, just be the Renaissance man, be the producer, right? And if you're gonna do that, then what are the biggest challenges of that? I guess it's first of all, the biggest challenge is yourself. It's like, oh, I never amounted to a proper writer like Hemingway, so I have to use these language models. Or I never amounted to a proper music producer like Zimmerman, so I have to use these language models. You know,
like George Zimmerman.
not Zimmerman. What's his name? Hans. Do they have the same last name?
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Zimmerman. But yeah,
Hans Zimmerman.
yeah, it's the same parallel. You just gotta adapt. But it's fun because you're doing something that no one else has done in history.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if like Einstein got to use like, you know, some of these language models? But then it wouldn't mean anything for him because you didn't have that like database to work off of for it to work off of. That's what it all works off of is data. We'll be all right though. Don't worry about it, man. Trust me. Like at this point, I'm building up Terrorisk to not just benefit me. Like it has to benefit other people, and couldn't have done it by myself anyway. So all I know is I just got a lot. I have a lot of like built up skill sets that I have to utilize. So I guess now we can move on to closing statements.
Yeah.
You got any? Anything immediate off the top of your head that you want to mention?
Ooh. Happy New Year, everyone.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I particularly don't, as I usually don't have a closing statement that stands out. I agree with use of AI and embracing and moving with it and using it.
How do you see yourself using AI in like the near future?
I didn't actually start using it any way at all because I barely used it at all. There's so many possibilities.
Yeah. I mean, you already expend so much energy putting out even your creative output. That still takes, mana. So might as well like make it more efficient, make the process more in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's stopping you really?
Something may always made me hold back. Maybe because I never wanted to take any of this seriously, even though I spent all my time on it.
You know what I think? I think it's like if you're used to swimming in 7-foot deep pools and then you get taken to the 12-foot deep end, it's like, I don't know about this, and then I push you in. It's like,
it's actually accurate. And also, my overarching theme of my life is general risk aversion, even though I had all this stuff already.
Is it true though? I mean, you moved out here, didn't you?
That's the biggest risk I've ever done in my life. Otherwise, that was in very cozy circumstances.
And
I
yet
had a bunch of money saved. I had my dad to move all my stuff. I moved into a chill place in a chill neighborhood.
Yeah, and yet it was like the riskiest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The riskiest thing I ever did, but I did it under the best circumstances.
And maybe risk aversion isn't your actual thing because I've seen you do some risky shit.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe it's not that. That's worth pondering.
Maybe you're just more scared of your own affinity for risk.
Maybe I've clipped my own wings and there's all these risks that I pull myself back from.
Well, maybe it's good that way. Maybe it's more balanced. I mean,
maybe when I was younger, I would have done something really fucking stupid and it mitigated me in a developmental time. But now I've matured and it's different.
Steph Kyle once called me thoughtfully reckless. And I agree with that. Try to be thoughtfully reckless.
How about yourself? Any closing statements?
I just want to express gratitude. I'm very thankful.
That's true. I'm very grateful for every day, for being born in America, for being born able-bodied, white, with a full head of hair.
And I'm excited to go on these gaming adventures. I'm excited to connect with these people on Twitch because even as a commenter, I got into some of these fucking streams. We're playing niche games, and I'm like, these guys are cool. Because the thing about Twitch, it's I
would love to play something with you. I haven't done something like that in a very long time.
For sure, I'll be down. I mean, one thing I like about it is people on Twitch have political bent, but it's always people on Twitter, it's their main thing is to be political. People on Facebook, their main thing is to be status oriented. Whereas people on Twitch, their main thing is to be a gamer or a people to just be entertained, There's less room for slop and more nah, motherfucker. I could be on Twitter right now. I could be on Facebook. I want to connect with a person, an actual human being. I want to see someone's face. I want to see them talk. I want to see them have real emotions as they play something or watch something. And I want to talk to them and I want them to fucking respond to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that, thank you for watching. And I'll be sure to add the link to the Twitch.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.
Good night and farewell.